Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here. It's Saturday morning, and we got a lot to do today. We got a preview and a reaction, and this isn't any ordinary day. Retiring Vince Carter's jersey tonight at the Scotiabank Arena, aka Air Canada Center. That's right. Yesterday they unveiled a Air Canada plane with decals all over it. Vince Carter, 15, his body in a dunk on the pose on the plane, and he even went underneath it and signed it. A very interesting ceremony where Air Canada presented Vince Carter with a plane with him on it, and it already is in flight. You may be in your town now, flying around Canada, going to different cities. It is in use. So there is a very special 15 plane out there. So yeah, this is Air Canada's day because it's Vince Carter's retirement day. So let's get to it. You saw in the picture, I had a picture of the two of the Groats and Vince in the picture from a while ago when Kyle and DeMar played for the Raptors and they were against Vince on the Sacramento Kings. Of course, this is convenient. Vince Carter used to play for the Sacramento Kings, so he will get his number retired in front of two teams he played for, the Raptors and the Kings. And the great DeMar DeRozan will be in the building on the side for the Kings to witness this whole thing. In fact, the whole halftime tonight is going to be 25 minutes long ceremony with luminaries and different people coming out like former teammates. Who knows? Maybe even DeMar will be there. There's been speculated that the Lakers are not leaving town to go to Detroit. They have a game on Monday in Detroit. They can leave tomorrow, and they're going to hang around and see the Vince ceremony. JJ Redick has special bonds with Vince Carter, and so does LeBron James. So we'll have to see if there's any LeBron around the ceremony for Vince tonight. That could be very interesting. So yeah, let's get to it. This is the regular preview. We'll do the reaction to the game last night too. Lots to say about the Laker game last night. But first, we got to do the first part, and let's look ahead. We're in the now. We're not in the past. We're looking forward to the future, but we're in the now, and that's the morning of Sacramento at Toronto tonight. So let's do it. Preview right now. Here we go. First, the injuries for the Raptors. Scotty Barnes, who has already been ruled out for around the next 3 weeks due to orbital fracture, will see a specialist on Monday. We saw Scotty on the bench. Very active. At one point, we heard him yelling in the game last night, back door, back door, back door. And then LeBron came through the back door. So Scotty was seeing the action on the court, even with the closed up eye a little bit there, able to read the floor and help his teammates, as he always does if he's not in the game, helping his teammates vocally from the bench. And yeah, you could hear Scott once again. Scotty's a player like Siakam where you can hear him over the broadcast. And that's kind of cool in some ways. But yeah, it did look like Scott's eye was closed up partially. It may have been even more closed up after Monday. And this is after 5 days of getting hit by Jokic in the eye. It looked pretty bad in some ways. Like his face did look like it got hit pretty good. So, hopefully, this is the thing. They lied to us, though, when they said that, it's going to be a surgery. They confirmed yesterday that they're still not totally sure if Scotty actually needs surgery on his eye or his face. They're going to wait for the swelling to come down, according to Josh Lewenberg. And then they'll assess it on whether they actually need to cut his face open to fix like muscles and nerves around his eye. So that's the latest on Scotty's injury news. He's going to see the specialist on Monday, and they're going to check it out after his swelling's gone down. And who knows if he doesn't need surgery and they can do things right. I think, I know they're saying 3 weeks, but it could be sooner, honestly. I would say this, Scott, you worried about all NBA, you worried about the super high level max contract that you can get. You need to be healthy as quick as possible. It's not in your interest to be on street clothes, sitting on the bench, helping the Raptors from over there. It's much more in your interest for being on the court and doing it there. Seriously. So, Scotty, please, healing vibes to you, sir. Come back and play it ASAP Rocky, please. Kelly Olynyk, it's actually the prognosis for Kelly yesterday got worse, y'all. Apparently his back is a lot of pain, and it's not going to be days for Kelly to return. It's going to be weeks away which is what they were saying yesterday at the practice interview, that Kelly Olynyk's prognosis is weeks from now, which is annoying, very, very annoying. Emmanuel Quickly was out last night, still with from the pelvis injury, and apparently he's ruled out for tonight already too. So no Emmanuel tonight for sure, but he may be close to coming back. We may see him on this road trip, starting out with Denver on Monday in Denver. And then Bruce Brown's still out because of his knee injury, but that's it. And we don't want anybody else coming to this list. And we're losing people off of it. Jacoby Walter making his NBA debut last night, which was fantastic. Let me speculate on our starting lineup for tonight's game. Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Oshai Abaji, and Jakob Poeltl are my choices for a possible starting lineup tonight. We may see Mobo jump in there again. We may see Chris. Who knows? Maybe Darko wants to reward Chris with a start, or maybe he's just saying, no, you're just a bench player, Chris, because of what you do. But, yeah, that's how it's looking there. Let's look across the court from us to the Sacramento Kings, led by Mike Brown. They don't really have any major injuries. Their two injuries are Devin Carter, the rookie, the son of Anthony Carter, former Raptor Anthony Carter, former teammate of Vince Carter, is actually out still. He had a very bad injury, and he might miss this whole season, honestly. Orlando Robinson, a backup center for the Kings, is also out for today. But everybody else is pretty healthy. The Kings were in Atlanta last night, and they beat the Hawks and Trae Young behind a nice, strong performance by DeMar DeRozan. Their starting lineup is De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis. And on their bench, this is the kind of names you're going to see out there. Canadian Trey Lyles from Team Canada, Alex Len, former Raptors center during our Tampa year, and Malik Monk, a sixth man of the year, Keon Ellis, Jordan McLaughlin, Doug McDermott was a late offseason add to this team, bolstering their three-point shooting. Colby Jones and Isaiah Crawford and Isaac Jones fills out that team for Sacramento. Now, I really hope we can win this game tonight. In some ways, there's some foreshadowing that the NBA wants us to beat the Kings on Vince Carter retirement night. In some ways, these games with special things around them, sometimes franchises get in this weird place where they're like, we need to win for Vince. We need to do this for Vince. In some ways, listen, I'm going to say this right now. If this was Kyle Lowry's retirement jersey, if this was DeMar DeRozan's retirement jersey night, I'd say, Raptors, you need to win for sure. But because it's Vince's, half man, half amazing, half effort in the last year, I say, you know what? If you win, that's great. I'll be happy because we want more W's for the Raptors right now. But if you don't, I don't care too. Because honestly, it's Vince's retirement night, and it's not as special as Kyle's. And that's just the damn truth to me as far as things are concerned. But there are signs that the NBA does want us to win this game. Our ref crew is extremely good tonight, guys. The crew chief for the game tonight is Brian Forte. He's in his 18th season out of Fairfax, Virginia, number 45 bus for the refs. Forte likes the show Breaking Bad. He likes the movies The Godfather 2. His favorite book is The Count of Monte Cristo. He likes to eat sushi. He'd most like to visit Spain. And his favorite app is Netflix. Netflix, that's right. Forte considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be his first playoff game, and that was game 1 of the first round series between Brooklyn Nets and Toronto Raptors on April 19th, 2014. So that was Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan versus Paul Pierce and them on the Nets, that series. So that is his most memorable game. Of course, he is the son of former ref Joe Forte. So he is a legacy referee with his father being a referee before him. The splits for Brian Forte are very good. Brian Forte is the nicest ref to the Raptors today. We win 56% of our games in the history of Brian Forte at our games. Meanwhile, the Kings only win 32%. So 56-32 is the split with the referee crew chief, Brian Forte. So he's not a bad ref for us tonight, statistically over the years. The second ref is the cop, Justin Van Dyne, out of Arcadia, California, his 11th season, number 64. His favorite TV show is Entourage. He likes the Jason Bourne movies. His favorite musician is Jimmy Allen. He likes the book Moneyball. Well, the A's aren't there no more, Justin. His favorite meal is sushi. So the theme tonight is Sushi Brothers. We got Steak Brothers earlier this week. Now we got the Sushi Brothers with Van Dyne and Forte. And there are great sushi restaurants in Toronto. You go on down there to Fune and just pick some of those little sushi pieces off those boats down there next to the Roy Thompson Hall. You get down there, Brian Forte and Justin Van Dyne. Find Fune. That's right. His favorite app is the Chive, which is like the Onion. It's like a parody site, I guess. He must like to visit Ireland, and his bucket list is to visit every MLB stadium. Well, Moneyballer, did you get to Oakland before they did this bullshit recently? Come on now, Justin Van Dyne. As I said, Justin Van Dyne is a California native who spent 9 years as a police officer in Ontario, California. He was also a middle school physical education teacher in California for 2 years. He enjoys spending time with his wife and 3 children, playing golf, collecting, and playing pinball machines and boating. This guy collects pinball machines. That's pretty cool. I'll bet you he has some of those specialty pinball machines. I wonder if Justin Van Dyne has a Kiss pinball machine. He might. That might be very cool. Justin Van Dyne is very friendly to the Raptors over the years. We win 52% of our games with Justin, and meanwhile the Kings win 42%. So 52-42 for the Raptors with the second ref, Justin Van Dyne. The third ref is Shea Flores. They are from Los Angeles, California, in their third season, number 91. Shea is favorite TV show is House of the Dragon. Their favorite movie is Lord of the Rings. They like to listen to Kendrick Lamar. Yee! DeMar is playing in the game tonight. Let's not get it twisted. You know, they not like us, whatever. Well, she's a they. They are they. So, you know, there's something there. Favorite book, The Mindful Athlete. They like cherry pie. Their favorite app is Happier. They would most like to visit Croatia, and their bucket list is to learn to play piano. Of course, Shea is the first trans ref in the NBA, and they are in their third year. This is their record with the Raptors. They are even 500 record, just above our franchise mark of 47%, 50% wins. And the Kings are 43%. So another third ref favors the Raptors 50-43 in this game, the Vince Carter retirement game. So there's your ref crew. It's not horrible. It's, statistically in favor of us. So we'll have to see how it goes out there. Van Dyne can be very, very down the line. In some ways, he can be a little revengeful in some ways if people come at him. But for the most part, these are very cool-headed refs that call it very well. And I like that. I like that. In some ways, we'll see how it goes. Excuse me. Jeez. So there's your preview for tonight, the injuries and the ref report for the Kings game tonight. So let's get into the comments. So I'll have my stars of the game, classic car of the day, Instagram stories, all the fun stuff on the Raptor Freak channel like we normally do every single day. All right, let's get into it. Let's see what you guys are saying. What are your comments? What do you have to say? It's such an active time in Raptors moments right now. There's a lot going on. A lot of content coming out from official Raptors admin this week. Tons of stuff. So much open gym stuff. So much stuff centered around Vince Carter. There's a very interesting clip that came out yesterday about fans responding to the Vince Carter retirement, and it's negative and positive, done by TSN, and it's really well edited. It really puts those questions, they got Vince. They took a bunch of people talking about it. It's like, he quit on us. He faked, he didn't try. He all this kind of stuff. He sold us out. He made us feel bad when he left. Basically, a lot of the things that I said during the summer when we found out this was happening, and they actually filmed people saying this stuff, and they showed Vince it. So Vince is watching on a little tablet people talking about how you quit on us. And this is like the perfect opportunity for him to say something about it, but he doesn't. Once again, his arrogance is crazy. He said basically this, the main message that he said at the end of it is, whatever the jersey's going up in the rafters, guys, it'll be up there forever. And your emotions about it will be up there forever either way. That's basically what he said, motherfucker. Golly, yeah, I called him a motherfucker on the day we're retiring his jersey. In some ways, he's so cocky and arrogant about that. He's like, yeah, I understand a lot of y'all were hurt by me and you hate me. and I don't care. I'm just going to be who I am, and I have no reason to apologize to anybody. That's basically how he is. He gets one more chance tonight in the actual ceremony. Maybe he can make a little nod to something, but his pride is in the way of him just saying, I shouldn't have quit on y'all in this way that I did. There's all kinds of stuff coming out. Josh Lewinberg doing excellent interviews with Glenn Grunwald and Richard Petty about the time when Vince left and what happened and what was going on inside the building with the company and the things surrounding it. And it's very eye-opening. Their reasoning for why things disintegrated with Vince and talking about the whole situation. Richard Petty, you're maddening and infuriating when you say, yeah, when Rob Babcock brought me this deal for Alonzo Mourning for Vince Carter, I knew it was a bad deal at the time. Well, why didn't you stop Rob Babcock? His only way is saying is like, well, you got to let the GM do the GM's job. That is bullshit, Richard Petty. You idiot. You are in charge of business, and that's a bad business decision. And in some ways, man, you can't be saying this like that. You knew at the time you should have stopped him, but you didn't stop him. Like there's something fishy about that. Either way, Richard Petty, you're a jerk. And in some ways, your interview, just talking about it from the business standpoint, Vince was big business, and he made so much money for us. You're a piece of shit, Richard Petty. I still think this to this day. And I remember you from when I worked there. You come by my stand and check it out and look it over, and it's like, that looks good. Nice, guys, nice. Yeah, all you cared about was this. You fucking piece of shit, Richard Petty. I know that's what your job was, but still, motherfucker, you only commoditize everything in your whole fucking entire life. This Vince Carter situation and everything. Yeah, fuck you, Richard Petty. 2-finger salute for you. Glenn Grunwald, on the other hand, is a real one. He's a real one for this team, the Toronto Raptors. And he was just cutting it like it is. Now, he was on watch. Everything was fine with Vince. But then he let go at a certain point, and Rob Babcock came in, and everything just disintegrated after that. But Glenn had a lot of nice things to say about Vince Carter and his effect and him being on the team and the different things. It's a very, very good interview Josh Lewinberg has on TSN with Glenn Grunwald and Richard Petty, two people that were in our front office when everything was happening with Vince Carter back in the day. In fact, Glenn Grunwald's the man that drafted Vince Carter. So there you go. Didn't draft him, but traded for him on the day of the draft. So yeah, lots of great, interesting content centering around Vince Carter's retirement and the the not so unanimousness of it, the controversy, the split. And I really appreciate the media, Josh Lewinberg, TSN, for making these clips and illustrating that this isn't exactly unanimous and very well supported completely by the whole of Raptors Nation. And that's fair, and that's important to show all sides. Now, in some ways, it's basically the message is, well, suck it up. It's going to happen either way, and you just got to deal with it. Yeah, I get it. I'm going to make sure I don't get any seats in the section underneath that rafter because I don't want to look up there and be underneath it. No. All right, let's get into the chat. Nako's saying, Lex, if Grady gets 50 points, can I have 50 dunks? No, because that's very realistic. It's not like you would be like a prognosticator or anything like that. Grady is a scorer. And Grady, the way he's doing this, this is the third game in the last week where Grady has gotten his career high. It's kind of crazy. I mean, this dude's going to keep doing this. I think all year he's going to get his career high, maybe a dozen times coming up. But no, Grady's going to get 50 points at some point, Gerald. And that's not like you're going out on a limb or taking any kind of risk saying that. I will say that too. I'm not going to give myself 50 dunks for that either. It's not like this is a ridiculous claim. In some ways, Scotty should get to 50 at some point, but I think Grady's going to get to 50 before him because it's just the nature of Grady's game. And we saw it full effect again last night. Grady, you were awesome last night, man. Now, I'm going to mix it up a little bit here. Grady Dick is one of my stars of the game. My number one star of the game is RJ Barrett. RJ was fantastic last night. Thank you, RJ, for going 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Once again, why the hell do you only have 2 free throws in this whole entire game? I have no idea. The referees in some ways were very good last night, but also I looked at that free throw discrepancy against the Lakers last night. It was bullshit. There's no freaking way that Austin Reeves should have more total free throw attempts than the whole entire Toronto Raptors team. What are you doing, Rodney Mott? What are you doing, Carl Lane? What are you doing, Jenna Schroeder? How can this happen like this? Seriously, y'all kiss Austin Reeves' ass so much to let him go to the free throw line so much. Listen, with LeBron and AD, these guys are so difficult to stop. I can understand if those guys were piling up all the free throws, because honestly, that was a big part of what was happening last night, is the greatness of two very unstoppable, top-notch players in the history of the NBA. You're going to foul them to go in the basket. But why is it Austin Reeves that's got all the foul shots? That's the thing that's fishy to me. That's the thing that pisses me off. And in some ways, that's the thing that, it's a complete crap. Or Fred VanVleet would say to Ben Taylor about the refereeing. Yeah, in some ways, there's something weird about free throw discrepancy, especially when it's 41-13 and we lose by 6. Yeah, that's crazy. In some ways, I ain't mad at it. It doesn't matter. In some ways, we don't get a win. So what? If we get development, we show good signs with our young players. That's what matters right now. But still, does it feel like we got cheated out of something last night? No. Because honestly, the Lakers came out and jumped all over us and kicked our ass in the first quarter. We made up for it every single quarter after that. As Darko said, we won 3 out of the 4 quarters. It's just that first quarter, we got our butt kicked right off the bat. And then after that, we were doing way, way better. And we ended up coming back and we erased like a 26-point deficit. So there's a lot of admirable things about it. I couldn't say overtly that the refs hit jobbed us. It's just maybe they were very biased with the amount of calls they gave to the other side is what it was. The second star is Grady Dick. Let me do RJ's line first. 14-22 for RJ. That's like high-level shooting, high percentage shooting. 14-22, that's badass. 3 for 5 from 3. In some ways, I wish he had woken up from 3 a little earlier. In some ways, I wish RJ had done a couple of things more earlier, like right away at the start of the game. 5 rebounds, and he got his career in assists. 12 assists out by RJ last night, a double-double with 33 points. Yeah, that's a fantastic game and leadership of RJ. I keep forgetting RJ's so young. In some ways, he was the counterweight to LeBron on the other side last night. As far as LeBron coming out there with 20 years experience, being 40 years old, and RJ is the counterbalance on our team to fight against him. And he's so much younger than him. In some ways, the energy is very similar to the gravitational pull around them on their teams with RJ and LeBron James. And they were guarding each other a lot last night, too. Yeah, RJ may talk a little bit of trash to LeBron. And man, he was doing something last night. But RJ, you're a badass. I appreciate your performance last night. Thank you for making your free throws. This is something that I care about with this team. If we're developing and losing a lot, if you make mistakes in the game before, if you fix them up the next game, I have a lot of respect for that. And my criticism of RJ and Charlotte was his free throws. And well, he took them very seriously and he made them last night and he shot very well, high percentage. So I'm proud of you. It's kind of like Scotty stinking the bed up in the debut against the Cleveland Cavaliers and then coming out gangbusters and kicking some Philadelphia ass in the second game. If I can see progress from one game to the next from any of the Raptors, the young Raptors, I'll be happy. And RJ showed progress in some of the things that pissed me off about what he did in Charlotte with what he did last night. Grady Dick was amazing. 13 of 26. That's 50% shooting on a high volume. That's fantastic, especially since he ain't shooting just right next to the basket like Anthony Davis. 5 of 11 from 3. 7 rebounds for Grady. 3 assists, 1 steal. 31 points for Grady Dick last night. Yeah, his career high added to 1 point on top of it. And like I said to Gerald just now, he's going to do this again. He'll get like 32 in the next game or something like tonight. He'll get 33. He'll get 40, 34. He'll get to 40. And he will get to 50 at some point. Trust me, he will. He will get there at some point, especially with this team and the way it's going. My third star is Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl has had a string of games with double-doubles that have been absolutely top-notch. 19 points for Jakob on 9 of 14 shooting with 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 blocks. That's top-notch, and he made his only free throw that he had right there. Very, very, very good stuff. So my 3 stars of the game, RJ, Grady, and Jakob. And they were just the solid vets on the court. And Grady is in his second year. The other guys, there was a lot of good stuff out there, too. And we did see the debut of Jacoby Walter. One of the things I really liked is Jacoby Walter had a +7 for his plus-minus. Him and RJ were the only 2 guys who had a plus-minus. RJ a +1. and Jacoby a +7. So that there's something to that right there, that the effect of Jacoby Walter being on the floor was good for the Raptors and getting the lead and getting ahead. So yeah, lots of good stuff there. There's your 3 stars of the game. I'll go over more on the back box score more with the team stats and other stuff soon. Trevor's saying people need to understand that first, that once you go through your worst time alone, you really don't care who stays in your life anymore. Dang, this is so true. Trevor always hits hard with this. You know, I've been a bachelor most of my adult life, other than when I was married, and I've gone through a lot of stuff by myself. And I'm going to tell you right now, it makes you tougher. It makes you harder. If you can be a person in solitude by yourself and you don't need anybody else in any kind of way, well, you know what? You're a pretty strong person and you can go through a lot. And this is kind of what Trevor's saying here, man. You go through your worst time and you're by yourself. Yeah, it hardens you. Trust me, this guy knows all about this. That's right. Let's see. Trevor's saying Grady looking like a Jedi. He's on a different level. I'm going to say it again. He will have a 40-point game. See, you're saying 40. Nako's saying 50. Yeah, this is all going to happen, guys. We know this. I mean, these are not, you can be going on pro line and trying to put this stuff in, but it's not like the payout's going to be very good because the odds are very good for this to happen. Seriously, especially the 40. I can see the 50 at some point this season, but we'll see. We'll see. It's got to be the stars align, and everything is exactly right. Maybe the matchup's got to be right. And also, he's got to be a little bit hotter than normal, where he's making almost everything. But we've seen Fred VanVleet get a very efficient 50-pointer, getting the highest score for the Raptors in the history of the Raptors. So we could see Grady do this at some point too. Trust me, we could. We could. Trevor's saying Jacoby looks good out there. To mindless the 3-pointer shut. To mindless the 3-point shot was not okay. The 3-point shot was not falling. He's going to be a special player. Well, we didn't see. He was 1 for 8, and we didn't really see the shot part of it. We saw more the energy part of it with him yesterday, as far as being a pest. I think the thing that impressed me the most about Jacoby Walter was that he didn't give up on plays hardly at all. Even if it looked like the Lakers had secured the ball, all of a sudden he knocked it out of their hands and we got the ball loose. There was one play where it looked like the Lakers had gotten the defensive rebound, but Jacoby with strong hands, fast hands, knocked it out of their hand and got it to Oshai for an easy layup after we thought that the play was over and they were about to come back down the court. That's the kind of stuff I really like, is the hounding and then the like get after it. The getting after it was very impressive. Like, this dude is relentless and he's kind of like trying to sneak and get balls from the other team while they have it, like come behind them and steal it and stuff. So it's very interesting aspect, the two-way of him. We've got to see the offensive side kick in with him actually making shots, but there's a lot of promise there. And it's interesting that he got 22 minutes in his debut. He really was out there a lot last night, and that showed a lot of confidence from Darko to play him. He had 6 rebounds and an assist, a block, and he was a +7, as I said earlier, 5 points in 22 minutes. He missed all 3 of his 3-point shots. The other thing that was very impressive about Jacoby was his free throws. He shot 3 free throws, as Jack put it. His mechanics were great. He had very, very good fundamentals in different places. And if I'm seeing a theme with the draft class this year that Bobby and Masai brought to Toronto, I'm seeing a theme of older players, or not really older, but just players that are more polished and finished and not like projects, maybe other than Shamshay, that need a lot. Like Mobo, Shed, Walter, and even Jamison Battle all are showing ability at the NBA level to play a certain level. Like, there are rookie mistakes happening, but they're not boneheaded, dumb ones in unfundamental ways. Often they're just missing passes or, different, maybe missing assignments here or there. But it's not like, dumbass stuff like I'm going to dribble all fancy and be crazy, and then I just lose the ball just like an idiot knucklehead. No, these guys are tightened up their games coming in already. And there's a lot of very good fundamental stuff about our rookie cohort right now. And Jacoby just reinforced it last night when he came out there, because he did a lot of things just very sound so that he could play at the NBA level and it's not going to stick out like he doesn't belong there. In some ways, that's the problem with a lot of young players coming to the NBA these days. This draft class was called weak. We're seeing high picks from France that are just jackasses right now that are like, why did they pick these guys? It's like, Hawks, you got your first pick in the draft for the first time ever. And you can go get this French guy and he's a bust already? What is this? Meanwhile, we've got these rookies we picked up later in the draft, and they all know how to play NBA ball and fit in, and they're not absolutely killing us with dumbass shit. And they're very, very much playing well. And there's a common thread between them. I'm telling you, whether it's Shed, Walter, Mobo, and even Jamison Battle. So I like that. Walter just reinforced that draft strategy by Masai and Bobby this year. That these guys are coming in more prepared and able to play in the NBA game than other guys. And in some ways, the stuff they got to work out is, well, cut down on turnovers. Sit there and listen to Garrett Temple tell you the game from the inside. I mean, that's what Jacoby said yesterday in his interview, that, I've been hurt. It's been kind of a blessing in disguise because for the first few games, I've got to sit next to Bruce Brown and Garrett Temple, and they've been pointing out little things here and there and teaching me the game in the middle of the game. And I'm learning so much about the NBA game from there. And it's weird. Don't get it twisted. Jacoby Walter may look like an emo kid that's singing some sad song on your YouTube and like, oh, I went to the beach and I loved the girl and I got her a bottle of wine and then she left me. And then his hair's flipping down over his eyes. Don't get it twisted. But this guy is actually a student of the game. He's very serious about his life. I can tell the way he works and the way he talks. He's very interesting in the interview yesterday. He's very, very media savvy. And he got across, the seriousness of him being a student of the game and what he's doing and what he's learning. And he said all the right things. In some ways, the way Shed is with his winning coming from Kelvin Sampson's Houston and that win percentage and the way that he carries himself on the court in winning ways. Well, there's winning ways in Jacoby Walter also that I'm detecting already just from his first game last night. Of course, on the other side, they brought out the human victory cigar that is Bronny. Our fans, not fans, the bronze sexuals that overran our building last night chanted, Bronny, we want Bronny, we want Bronny. And they got Bronny. Yeah, Bronny came out for a 7-second appearance. And it was kind of like, why'd you do this? Okay, you can put him out there just to appease the fans and say, oh, Bronny came and played in Toronto. I guess you can technically say that. Bronny was -2 in Toronto because RJ made that basket right at the end. And that's all the stats he collected. So he just added a -2 to his plus-minus for the year. Is basically what Bronny did when he came out in the game last night. Yeah, it's silly, man. This whole thing is so silly and weird. So silly and weird, the Bronny stuff. Very much. Now, it's very much apparent that Kate Burness is a bronze sexual. Yeah, how many times are you going to say during our broadcast last night, Kate Burness? LeBronto. He calls himself LeBronto. Stop saying that shit. Seriously, the LeBronto thing needs to die. Yes, I know LeBron showed up to our arena last night and a ghost face from the scream with a caption saying LeBronto is here. So doesn't mean you need to encourage him. Doesn't need to encourage this nickname that Paul Jones brought about at some point he regrets to this day. No, we don't need this, Kate Burness. And it's obvious that you get real excited about LeBron James, your bronze sexual. And you doing our broadcast last night was not pleasant because of that. And then you add in 2 sheets of the wind, Sam Mitchell. Woo! Oh my gosh, Sam Mitchell showed up to the broadcast lit. It was glassy eyes and red eyes. And oh yeah, he had a little bit there. Yeah, he was off the charts. In some ways, it's kind of like Sam Mitchell giving the timeshare address to that poor guy, Chris Myers or whatever his name was, Chris Miles. I think that the TSN broadcaster was like, you were so fun on that broadcast, Sam. Can you be like that on our show too? Because he was loose. And there were a couple of things he said like last night there. I was like, damn, Sam Mitchell is crazy. He said something like, yeah, down in the USA, we are a nation of a bullshit or something, basically is what he said. Like disinformation or something like that. We become a nation of disinformation down there or something like that. He's right. But it's so funny to hear his drunk ass say it. And then they talked about this. They were joking around about Vince's number going up in the rafters. And they're saying, Sam, you need to go up in the rafters, coach of the year. And he's like, I don't want to have anything to do with this down here because we've seen what this city did the last coach of the year here. What are you talking about, Sam Mitchell? You talking about Nick Nurse? You talking about what we did to Nick Nurse? What did we do to Nick Nurse? What did Nick Nurse do to himself? Is what I would say to Sam Mitchell. That's what I would say. What did Nick Nurse do to himself? Are you saying that we ran him out of town? Well, he shouldn't have half-assed his life and played piano his life and got to a position where he needed to be fired by Masai Ujiri. So, yeah, very interesting broadcast last night with the broadcast crew. Leo, you are a safe harbor in a tumultuous storm of bronze sexuals and drunken co-hosts. Yes, you are. Leo Routens, you're awesome, man. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy, man. Nako's saying, looking into what Masai said, I don't think he's immediately bought in on barbecue. I don't think that's true. I think, Masai, it was awesome. What a treat to get Masai Ujiri early in the game in the first half, sitting there. In fact, we were doing well when Masai was sitting there. It's like he should just stay there. He's talking about Grady Dick and Grady's bombing shots. He's like, I want to just stay here. And he's like, oh, these seats are so good down here. Masai's hilarious, man. Masai, you're the best, man. And honestly, when you're in the broadcast, it's really fun. I really do enjoy you being there and hearing him. Now, I don't understand exactly what you're saying, Gerald. The one thing that we did say is that, is we haven't had them together. In fact, they calculated having the lineup of our starting lineup. We've only had it on the court for like 6 minutes ever. The starting lineup for our team right now, which is Barbecue, Yak, Dick. And that sucks. We need to see it. I didn't get that overtone from Masai. I think that he's just anxious for us to get them back, and then we can see the product, and he feels really good about it. It sounded like Masai was very upbeat, even if we're having a tough start of the season, because he's seeing what he wanted from Nick back a couple of years ago, is development. He wanted development. He was all about development like 3 years ago, and Nick Nurse was all about winning and trying to play the starters. And now he's seeing a coach that's playing a lot of rookies real early and showing good signs of development. So I think in some ways, Masai is very pleased with what Darko's doing. He said it on the broadcast last night. I'm very, very happy with what Darko's doing with the development right now. That's all he wanted. I don't think he ever actually said anything about not liking the barbecue. I think that he said actually that the fit is really good with their different skills. And then he kind of went over it on there. So I didn't hear this, Nako. I don't see this. I don't think he's immediately bought in on barbecue. No, he is, because he invested hundreds of millions of dollars in it right now. So, yeah, I didn't catch that at all. I caught it that he's saying, yeah, I want to see them out there healthy all together as soon as possible, is what it sounded like to me. Trevor's saying we have to win for RJ to become an all-star this season. If Scotty ain't going to be around, RJ plays a certain way with consistency, yeah, he could be the all-star this year for the Raptors. It's smart for the NBA to have a Canadian all-star, somebody from our team, because in some ways this is a market up here that you want to catch the net on for watching the all-stars. And if you don't have any Canadian participation as far as a team from Raptors, then in some ways people up here may not watch the all-star festivities as much. So it's in their marketing and money background interest in the NBA to have Toronto Raptors representation there. Sometimes the three-point contest is not enough, Jason Capona. In some ways, we need a true legitimate all-star like Scotty last year. Because last year I was saying this, it's like, if we don't have anybody in the all-star game, I'm not watching it. It's garbage anyway. It's not fun to watch. I'm with Barack. It's like, what are you guys doing out there? You're ruining it. And, if you're not going to put one of our Raptors in there, well, why would I watch it? And I would say, yeah, right now, RJ Barrett is the closest to becoming an all-star this year as far as who's playing, although it's whether Scotty's healthy and he can come back and put somebody to work. Scott showed such amazing things in the time before, and he really is. Like, they had another clip that came out yesterday, just inundated with so much Raptors content in the last 2 or 3 days. Open gyms, and TSN coming out with this fun little game where the Raptors try to guess whose 2K profile it is. And they put the stats, the badges, and the ratings and everything on there. And all the Raptors are trying to figure it out. Some of them are guessing themselves. It's crazy. And well, Scotty, he said some things on that clip that were very interesting. He said that he plans to get his rating up very much higher this year. And that, yeah, he wants that all NBA so that he can trigger that super max on his contract. So let's not get it twisted. Scotty sitting on the bench with a busted eye right now is not hopefully going to be for long, because that man wants to play, because he's got to make that minimum. In some ways, this NBA rule, 65 games, you don't get any postseason awards if you don't make 65 games, is having an impact, because a lot of these guys that would sit most of the year, like Embiid and Harden and other people, Kawhi, they ain't going to get any awards, and they're going to have a hard time kicking in some of their higher clauses on their contracts. And that's something that in some ways is a carrot in front of the cart, in the horse, to get them going and moving down the road. And I like that. In some ways, there is an incentive for Scotty to get healthy and get back out there. If it's literally money. And that is really, really good. Hopefully he'll get out there and he'll do it. Hopefully he'll get out there and he'll do it. That's right. That's right. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Monique is here, the super fan. Monique Lawrence, guys. She's saying, good morning, Raptor Free crew. Happy game day. The main thing, we fought at the end, awful game. Totally disastrous nightmare at the beginning. Once again, a very, very poor start where the Raptors could not score and the Lakers are just going off. In some ways, I have to give a lot of credit to JJ Redick for getting LeBron and AD to play at a crazy good level. They really are playing at a good level, and they got a good balance there. Some of these other Laker coaches that have coached them in the last couple of years just couldn't get the right things out of them. Well, Redick's getting the right things out of them. And I give a lot of credit also to, this was smart. He's such a novice, and he really isn't like a coach for very long. But they put him next to Scott Brooks and Nate McMillan. And those guys are NBA head coaches from before with a lot of experience. Yeah, in some ways, they're doing things right in that way. And honestly, some of my opinions about the Lakers with JJ Redick, I have to change, because I've seen that this guy is a major student of the game, and he is doing things right for that team. So there is a lot of hope and promise in Laker Nation this year. I don't know what they're going to end up being at the end of the year. Some of it may have to do with Anthony Davis and whether he can stay healthy. But yeah, it's an interesting team. I hate Austin Reeves. I think that dude's dirty. In some ways, the way he falls all over the place and he does goofy shit. I was kind of happy that his ankle was all kind of screwy and he was acting weird. And Grady did take advantage of him at certain points because he was kind of gimpy and nimble, not walking real well. So there's some interesting stuff going on with that Lakers team. That's for sure. Yeah, it was a weird game, Mo. In some ways, we could all say, yeah, look how close it was. We could have won if we just fixed this mistake or this mistake. But that's not really the case. We got blown out last night. We got our ass kicked. And the Lakers just went on cruise control for a while and tried to measure the game and keep it like where it is. But in some ways, we really weren't threatening to come and win that game from them. There were chances. And if we had really buckled down in the fourth quarter and done things absolutely perfectly, an older team, a team more veteran and experienced, could have came and snatched that game away from them. But also, we got to remember, you're going up against LeBron and Anthony Davis. And these guys really are two of the greatest players of their generations in this league. That's just how it is. I mean, I'll read what Jakob said about this because he's exactly right. He said 125-131 loss to the Los Angeles Lakers after trailing by 26 early. We played great on both ends, supported by our fantastic fans. Proud of our short-handed team. Yeah, he said in the interview last night that in some ways when you're dealing with such monoliths of the game, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, well, it's tough. There's a lot of experience and there's a lot of, like, this is what Yak said. He said, these guys are so good and they've been around for so long. Every little mistake you make, they pick apart and they make you pay for it. And that's true. There was stuff like that last night where, we'd do something, we'd miss an assignment, or they get they get fast in the break and in transition and boom, they're killing us. We miss a shot, boom, they're off into the races and they're coming back the other way. And it is very difficult to deal with LeBron just in general as a freight train coming down the court. This is what I want Scotty to be more like. And then with the length of Davis, and his shooting percentage is so high right now. This guy is making stuff near the basket really well, but then also he's shooting really good midi also. So it's kind of like, man, these dudes are really hard to stop on offense. We had no defense in the first half. They scored 76 points in the first half, and that we had no signs of defense. In fact, they came out with the little Roddenberry or whatever that guy's name is chart where they have the line and they have all the teams in the league, and it's like best defense, worst offense, best offense, worst defense, all that kind of stuff. We have the worst defense in the league right now, according to that chart. We're at the absolute bottom. We're about halfway with offense on the chart, but we are at the very bottom of that chart for defense right now, with the worst defense in the league right now. And that's actually true, because I see in these games, teams are scoring 30 points every quarter they play against us right now. In some ways, we have no kind of shutdown on them. And then that's the tough way to win. If you can't stop the other team and you can't hit threes, you're not going to win a shootout with another team if you can't stop them and they're making their threes and you aren't. So, oh man, there's some things we got to do differently. And one of them is playing much better defense. That's for damn sure. Especially, oh my gosh, they just went crazy last night. I mean, but what do? You got a bunch of rookies and Jakob Poeltl, and then you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis and a core that honestly has been together for like 3 years now. So they have a lot of reps together. So there's a couple different things right there. Monique's saying, good to see Jacoby out there. Yeah, it was very nice to see some people coming off the injury list and returning to the lineup. Yeah, bad news about Kelly yesterday. Kind of okay news with Scott. We'll see. Yeah. And Emmanuel, come on, man. Just come back, dude. Help RJ. We need you to help RJ. Trevor's saying Raptors forced the Lakers to play Davis and LeBron full minutes to win the game. Yeah, I'll go look at that real quick. I mean, these guys are really, top-notch players in the league for the last 15 years. They really are. LeBron, 9 of 17, 5 of 8 from 3. He's really, really smooth with the threes. 4 for 6 at the free throw line. He missed a triple-double, 27 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, and a steal, a plus 11. And, yeah, he played 36 minutes. Anthony Davis, 36 minutes also, 14 of 20 from the field. That's that field goal percentage. It's insane. And he had 38 points. He was a plus 7. 10 for 11 at the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Yeah, the man, 41 free throws to 13 free throws is messed up. Is that just disrespecting our guys? Is that a certain way that they play? I don't think it's any of that. I think it's just that something weird happened last night. Like RJ really should be getting the line more often. It's not like he's going to the basket any different than people like Austin Reeves. They're all trying to make their moves. They put the dribble down the floor. They're getting touched. They're getting held. They're getting pushed. RJ's very strong, so maybe you don't see it as well. Rodney Mott, but I'm telling you, he's getting fouled on the way to the basket. Now, maybe it's part of it, the FIBA of the league. They're allowing a lot more contact underneath the basket, because in some ways we did see that last night. There were times where the Lakers would be near under the basket and we'd hit them and they'd allow it, and they didn't call jack shit. There were a couple of times where Carl Lane really hooked us up. Carl Lane is awesome. And he gave us possession a couple times last night when it was unclear whether it should be our possession. And other refs that don't really favor the Raptors would have absolutely gave the ball to the Lakers. But in those kind of not clear moments, he went with the home crowd and gave the ball to the Raptors in those moments. So I mean, the ref crew is mixed results. Rodney Mott is okay. In some ways, the way they handled the challenge was absolutely right when they changed the foul to Gabe Vincent for pushing Chris Boucher, and Jonathan Mobo wanted to take the free throws, but Chris Boucher was taking the free throws. That was funny because they said, successful challenge for JJ Redick, but it doesn't change the outcome at all because we still took free throws, and that was kind of funny. Now the other challenges were, the Davion Mitchell challenge was, it was probably right. I thought they may be able to get that one overturned, but Rodney Mott was adamant that he touched him on the waist. And it is what it is. That's the right time to challenge that. Just like the broadcast said, it's only like a minute or so to go in the game. You still have your challenge up your pocket, and it's an ambiguous call that maybe the refs could interpret it that way, and you may get a break that way. So that I agree with them running the green light at that time and trying to get that foul repealed on Davion Mitchell on that drive to the basket by the Lakers, but it wasn't to be, and that's fine. I think that's very good usage of your challenge because he doesn't do it then. He doesn't try to use it that moment. It goes away when the clock expires, and you didn't use it, so you might as well use everything at your resources at the time when you should. and with a minute or so to go. I mean, now it would look bad if there was a play like in the last part of the game after that where they, damn, we wish we hadn't used the challenge there. But what are the likelihood of that? And what are the chances of that? So I agree with how Darko called that challenge at the end, even if he was not successful at stopping the foul on Mitchell. It is what it is. Yeah. Cowboys here. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go to the game tonight, Monique. And let's see Vince Carter get his jersey retired. In some way, man, I'm going back and forth on this. Now that it's the day of, I'm kind of like, you know what, Lex? I still kind of want to boo him. If I go to the game, I'm going to boo him. I'm not going to go to the game, but maybe I'll boo him when I'm here at home and just like, boo, boo. I mean, I don't know. I got to figure this out. I have mixed feelings. Vince, you could fix all this if you just say the right thing, but you won't. You won't say it. I can already tell. Now, if we get more games of you calling games this season and you're fun and you're really embracing your Raptors connections, you know, you coming and getting emotional about a plane yesterday, that did kind of go a certain place with me. Because like, look, first of all, the Air Canada connection with you, you know, Chuck Swirsky chirping on Twitter yesterday saying, I wonder where that came from. Yeah, you made it up, Chuck. You made up the Air Canada moniker when you were our voice of the Raptors in the Fan 590. Yeah. In some ways, Vince getting choked up so much around Raptors events does kind of hit me in the heartstrings because it does make me really feel like this guy was, you know, very emotionally connected to us, whether good or bad, whether it's from the years after getting booed by us or the very beautiful heyday of when things were good in Toronto and things were great. Yeah, it's a weird thing. You know, Glenn Grunwald said in his interview with Josh Lewenberg that, you know, the Raptors would not have been on TV down in the States like they were, like crazy. They were demanded to, and they used the maximum amount of games that they could put the Raptors on TV and on NBC on Sunday afternoons. You know, that's part of the Air Canada Carter effect. And yeah, that plane was beautiful. And that'd be cool. You'd be at Pearson and you're waiting to get on your plane and you see your plane taxi up to your departure ramp. And all of a sudden you see that 15 on the wing. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, Vince getting really emotional and crying. They did a little sit down interview with him and Paul Jones, and he's telling funny stories about things like, oh, I picked 15 because my mom said I need to pick a number and make it my own and stuff like that. So he picked 15. He had a couple numbers he thought about, 6 and 12, but he didn't because of people that he idolized at that time. Dr. J being one of them, Randall Cunningham, the other. Yeah, you know, I just wish you'd just do one thing, man. And in some ways, they teased us, TSN, with that little clip that came out yesterday where they're talking about the controversy about retiring Vince Carter's jersey and having the voices of people like Monique and myself saying, yeah, he quit on us. Nah, screw that guy. It's almost like they took me verbatim and had some other guys say the things that I would say. And, you know, in the end, he's kind of like, yeah, Vince, I loved you then, and I still love you now, is what the guy says. It's kind of like in the position of me, of what I feel about it. And I'm like, man. But I did love hearing the great collector. That guy, I've known about that guy, the guy who had all the Vince Carter jerseys in that clip. And he said, and it's funny because they actually do show the fallout of what happened after Vince went to New Jersey. The fans all saying they were disappointed. And like, yeah, the one guy said, I'd never tore up my jersey before, but I did because of that. And then the other guy, the guy who collected all the jerseys, said, I put all my jerseys away because I didn't want to see them anymore. And he hid them. And it wasn't until that Memphis game when he came back and he got an ovation and cried a little bit 10 years ago that that guy got his Vince Carter jerseys out of the closet and out of storage. Yeah, that just says a lot. That's a very deep kind of thing right there that shows that there's a lot about this whole thing, that this whole 20 years, the 25 years with Vince Carter, the 5 years that were good, and then the 20 years afterwards that have been like acrimonious and at odds with Toronto and Vince Carter. It's tough. And healing this stuff doesn't happen overnight. In some ways, you know, I got to applaud Bell and TSN and the Raptors and MLSE for really trying to smooth this over with a very strong propaganda campaign, but also very good like vignettes and segments and talking and exploring about this. Because this is very, very complicated. This is not easy. And even tonight will be probably complicated in some ways also. We'll have to see. I'll be very interested to see. You know, I don't want people that go to the game tonight that possibly boo the game to be ostracized for it. I think that it's very fair for fans to come there and boo this retirement jersey ceremony tonight. And if anybody out there is so mad at them for doing it or yelling at them, well, you get over it. Something. No, let them be who they are because they're allowed to do this. And just because you decided that you want to forgive Vince Carter doesn't mean that everybody else did. And honestly, that's part of living in a country with freedom is that you should be allowed to have differences of opinion and express them freely. And if, like I said, if somebody at the game is booing Vince Carter's jersey retirement tonight and you don't like it, well, shut up and let them do it because they have a right to freedom of speech. You have a right to freedom of speech to say something to them, but honestly, it's not right for you to come at people for just being who they are and being what they want to do. So I would just say that or caution people. Seriously, if you're upset because somebody boos Vince Carter tonight, get over yourself. Because in some ways, and you say, oh, get over yourself for booing him. No, listen, in some ways, we're real ones. We're real ones because we feel the pain still from 2004. And some of y'all young ones were not around who cannot understand this. And some of this older people still understand this. And we really love our team that much. That's what I would say to that. That's how I say to that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going in the chat here. Let's see. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Despite the L, I really enjoyed the second and fourth quarters. Jacoby looks really good, fam. Future looks bright. Yeah. Yeah. Let me look at the box score some more, guys, real quick. We'll do the team stats real quick. Or you know what? We'll do the team first. All right. So Davion Mitchell, 31 minutes, 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers for 10 points. He was only a -2, which isn't bad. You know, Davion had some bright spots and different things out there. You know, he's been pretty solid. He's not really a bona fide starting point guard in this league, I don't think. But I like the fact that he made shots pretty good last night. Like he was shooting threes and making them when they were open. And you know, he's really good at looking for people and passing. But I'll be much happier when he's our backup guard and Emmanuel is back. Seriously. Oshai was solid. He didn't have a big scoring game, but he was solid. 4 for 9. He missed all 3 of his threes. 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 8 points, a -5. You know, Oshai is not getting free throws either. And in some ways, the way he plays is going to the basket and getting physicality hit at him too. And he should be getting more respect and going to the line too. And I don't like that. Chris Boucher off the bench, -13. He was the worst plus-minus on the Raptors last night. 3 for 6 from the field. He missed all 3 of his threes, 3 or 4 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 9 points in 14 minutes. Yeah, I mean, Chris was energy. Chris was out there. In some ways, he was a little bit of a veteran at times for us. We were like playing Jakob and Chris with 3 rookies in the game at times. That, you know, is, you know, in some ways, he's got to be kind of the older, steady guy out there. Bobo, solid game, stat stuffing as usual. 2 for 6 in 21 minutes. 0 for 1 at the 3. He did take 1 3 last night. 2 for 3 at the free throw line. That once again, he's a good free throw shooter. He really takes his time at the line. 6 rebounds, including 4 offensive. That's monstrous. 3 assists, 2 steals. He did have 5 fouls, 6 points in 21 minutes. Yeah, Mobo stat stuffing. And Orrin Weisfeld pointing out on Twitter this morning, I can see the comparisons of him and Precious, but he's really like Scotty. And I kind of said that early too. I mean, he looks like Precious with the hairstyle. He's gotten mistaken for being Precious out in public when he was with Scotty walking around downtown in Toronto. But he's not Precious. And in some ways, he does take after his best friend more. I mean, it makes sense. If these guys have been hanging around with each other for a long, long time, they talk about basketball with each other, they're going to rub off on each other. And their philosophies and the way they see the game may be very similar in some ways. So that totally makes sense why Jonathan could be a mini Scotty in some ways. I mean, I said this about him from this summer, actually, that seeing his game in summer league is Scotty. He's like Scotty. He's going to get stats in all the stat categories. And I like that. Shed, 15 minutes, 2 of 7. He missed all 3 of his threes, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 4 points, -6. Yeah, not the best Shed game. In some ways, he was out there dogging people a little bit. But you know what? in some ways, I know that everybody's real high on Shed, but I really am adamant he needs to go to 905 and run that show down there. There's kind of signs right now that he may be avoiding the 905, like you guys were saying last week. But I think that would be a big, big mistake, Masai and Bobby and Darko. I think that you guys need to send Shed down there just so we can get the Van Vliet effect as far as what Freddie did down there. Now, Freddie didn't get to play as much as Shed's getting to play right now in his rookie year. Shed is getting full rotational minutes. Freddie was stashed away at the end of the bench. Now, I get it. IQ's hurt, and we need him up there. But in some ways, I would say this. I wish y'all had played DJ Carton over him last night more. Seriously. Because in some ways, DJ Carton is steadier in certain ways than Jamal Shed. And he's ahead of him with his age and his experience in the league. So I don't know. I really want Jamal to get his own show to run. And if he's behind IQ and Davion on the depth chart, he needs to go to 905 and be the number one point guard down there. And in some ways, that will benefit him a lot because he can make all kinds of point guard mistakes and different things and learning how to run the team and the flow of the game down there for a while. And I'll bet you when he goes down there, he's going to dominate and he's going to be so good. So in some ways, maybe if he goes down there and he's just like so good, they're like, yeah, he doesn't need to be down here, then come up. But I think he does need to go down there and run his own show in Mississauga for the season. I'm seeing signs that he might not go there because he's not in any of the media day stuff this week with them, like Mobo and Battle and Shamshay and them. But I really think that would be a big mistake. Let's not make the mistakes of Bruno Caboclo and other players in the past. In some ways, Malachi Flint could have easily used way more 905 if it had been available to him in certain ways around his early part of his career. So let's not drop the ball when we actually have the ability to have Jamal Shed run his own team in Mississauga. Let's not drop the ball just because either A, he's too prideful to go down there, or B, y'all are just like, yeah, we need him up on the upper level more than anything. I mean, I can see that right now. But when IQ, maybe Bruce Brown, and, we have everybody fully healthy, maybe Shed needs to go to 905 and really run that team down there. In some ways, that helped Marquise Noel last year in a lot of different ways, running that team down there. And I think it would help Jamal Shed. DJ Carton, only 5 minutes, nothing in any of his stats. He had a brawny stat line there. Yeah, and that's the box score for the Raptors, fully fleshed out right there. Yeah. Cowboys saying, win or lose, I enjoy watching this team. Let's get that W tonight. Yeah, I'll say that too. I honestly thought last night after the Lakers came out and dropped 76 on us in the first half that we would just roll over and lose by 30 by the end of the game. But no, the Raptors don't do that. It's like that in some ways is showing a sign that Coach Darko is a good coach. Because honestly, a lot of teams would just wave the white flag and just shrivel up and die for the rest of the game. But not our team. We're out there fighting. We're out there battling, and we're closing the gap. And that's all we want. In some ways, we understand we have a very young cohort on this Raptors team right now, and they're going to take losses because of experience is not there. In some ways, they have to grow and get better. But it's unacceptable to see a team like that just get lazy or wave the white flag and surrender. And the Raptors aren't doing that. They haven't done that at all in this season, even if they've lost most of their games. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very, very proud of that. In some ways, I was really hoping we could come back and steal the game last night. In some ways, I saw RJ Barrett with a look on his face for a while last night, like he was in the Olympics this summer on Team Canada. And he had that fierceness, like he wanted to compete and get that win. I saw it. I saw it in you, RJ. And I know you wanted to, and you were busting your ass to try and get there. You and Grady were fantastic. What a 1-2 punch. 64 points between two players for the Raptors last night, Dick and Barrett. We're really, really, really good. Really, really good. Cowboys saying, when is Bruce coming back? I don't know. I don't really see the timeline. Of course, he's looking all cowboyed up once again last night. Yeah, it's good to see Scott on the bench, too. I think Scott, when he wears that toque and he has that little look that he had going on, it's a little bit like a Cobra Kai like shirt that he's wearing. He kind of reminds me of Parappa the Rapper. And I'm not trying to dish you, Scott. But in some ways, that's your look that you kind of show on the court with your little hoodie. And you were doing that little dance last year with like in that look. Yeah, we love you, Scott. Get your eye better. And Bruce, get your knee better. Quickly in your pelvis. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I cannot fathom myself to understand why so many LeBron lovers in Toronto. It was nauseating to watch. Seriously, I hated it. People rooting whenever Lakers scored a bucket. Yeah, there was a lot of that going on, and it wasn't a true home crowd for the Raptors. In some ways, I knew this would happen. You couldn't catch me going to that game. I'm not interested in going down there. In some ways, I get so aggravated being in the building with all that. I mean, it was annoying enough on Monday with all the Serbian Jokic fans in the arena when we played the Nuggets. Yeah, it's a totally different thing. And we got to understand, once again, like I said yesterday, LeBron's not going to be around forever now. And these people need to come see him while they can. And he only comes to Toronto once a year. So, of course, most of the tickets last night are going to be bought by people that wear the purple and gold of the Lakers. And, it's not even just the They're not just Laker fans. They're straight up LeBron James fans. I used to have a roommate from Sri Lanka that absolutely loved LeBron, but he said he was a Raptors fan first. But whenever we played LeBron, Cleveland or Miami, he would always joke and say, yeah, I'm not a Raptors fan tonight. And he turncoat on us. And for that night when we play LeBron. So during the whole LeBronto phase, this idiot was such a jerk. He would be like, yeah, we're playing Cleveland, but I'm a Cleveland fan now. I'm a Toronto fan every other day. I'm like, man, you're not a real one, guy. You're not a real one, Bran. And talking like this and doing like this, the way you handle Braun, you're Braun-sexual is what I'd say to that. And I mean, that's just true. I mean, you can see there is an absolute adoration and admiration for LeBron James, and rightfully so, and to a degree. In some ways, Toronto's an international city. Not everybody is from Toronto. They come from all over the world. And some people may come here already as a Laker fan or may come here as a LeBron fan already. And that's part of the phenomena right there. That's part of it right there. That if you cannot fathom it, well, I'm trying to help you, Fiercey, on that one. Yeah, it was barfy the way they were cheering for them. And especially at the beginning, there's a lot of delight in the Lakers trouncing the Raptors in the first half last night. And I didn't like that. So we were saying, what time is the ceremony, before the game or after? It's at halftime. They're going to have an extended halftime today, a 25-minute long halftime. Halftime's only been like 10 minutes recently. They cut it down. They're going to have the regular size halftime from when I was a kid. They used to have like a 25-minute, half-hour halftime, but they cut it way, way down to expedite the times of NBA games. And that it's been a good change, honestly. I'm used to this beat now, but it's going to be weird being on the old beats. But, of course, that whole thing is going to be out on the court, a ceremony. And they're saying there's going to be former teammates and other people from around the NBA that are important to Vince Carter's career that are going to be showing up tonight. Of course, they're saying JYD's still in town. This guy's just around all the time. But there'll be other former teammates, like Alvin Williams will be there also, and he'll be out there on the court with them also. So, yeah, it'll be during halftime, Smooth. That's when it is. Monique is saying, I predicted the tears coming from Vince, plus absolutely great piece from Josh. Article. Wow, well done. Yeah, I'm really happy that he's done this. I actually wrote to Josh Lewenberg earlier this summer when we found out about the Vince jersey retirement, because he feels the same way as us guys too. I could tell, Josh's early tweets about it was like, yeah, I'm not totally okay with this too, because I remember the Vince exit. And a lot of fans are like this. It's amazing. Honestly, people in the franchise are still kind of like us, Monique and I, as far as like not totally okay with this. And media people are the same too. And I asked Josh, I was like, make sure that the all sides of this get put out there. I don't want the Raptors and MLSC to just whitewash the history of Vince Carter as just being all sunshine and roses. And Josh has taken that baton and really ran with it and explored this as a journalist should. So high applause and high regard for Josh Lewenberg of TSN and the coverage that he's done on the Vince Carter retirement as far as getting all sides of the story, good or bad. And you did exactly what I was asking you to do this summer, Josh. You took that ask from me, that request, and you nailed it, man. You hit it out of the park. And getting the interviews with Richard Petty and Glenn Grunwald that are up on TSN right now were top notch because they really give you the insight from the inside of it. And they're very open about it. And they're not kind of like sugarcoating it. And I like that. I like that a lot. So good. Cowboys saying Vince is signing airplanes. Yeah. He was down at the airport underneath an airplane, an Air Canada airplane that people can fly in. They are flying in it probably right now. And he wrote on the underneath of it, and he wrote his signature on it. It's a pretty cool plane. It looks real sweet. Of course, Nav's down there. Uh, loves Vince so much. He's everywhere. And of course, Nav's out at courtside with Braun and Bronny, loving that too. In some ways, Nav, you are the ultimate like diplomat and representative for our team. It's true. But man, in some ways, in some ways, you're too Gandhi, I guess. In some ways, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, he's too peaceful. He's too loving, and he's too like together with everybody. In some ways, I wish we could be more competitive and more cutthroat like other teams, like the Hornets putting our broadcast crew way up in the ceiling, or the Celtics turning down the heat in the visitors' locker room. In some ways, it's not, we don't want to be cheaters, but I don't want to be so soft and inviting and nice. In some ways, it's like Nat Bhatia is a businessman, and he likes to have relationships. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, he's a great fan, nonetheless, but also sometimes it annoys me just how much he's like turn the other cheek and just love everybody. Like, especially with how he's been with Nick Nurse and also Vince Carter. In the years, wow, things were really bad with Vince Carter. And so he's okay. Kudos to you. You're a better man than me, Nat Bhatia, to be able to be the way you are. But also, is there other reasons why you're like this? Is that, I mean, I don't know, man. In some ways, it's annoying, man. It's so annoying. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Fiercely saying, Lex, I think you're right on Matt and Jack watching the streams. Early fourth quarter, Jacoby was on the court, and Jack said, I can see why they're intrigued by him. Yeah, I mean, it's not, there's little, if anything, if it's not them, there may be producers of the broadcast that watch me, and they may get talking points. And they may get like, oh, that's a really interesting thing. Because in some ways, I'm part of their research department, I guess. And they don't even have to pay me. And I don't mind either way. It's not like I feel like they're cheating me. Because honestly, if anything I'm saying on this broadcast here gets on their broadcast, we're educating the Raptors Nation further. And in some ways, this just shows the signs of our intelligence as a group at this point, to get to the point where we're talking about certain things and certain in-depth things. The thing that gave it away this week that I think that they are watching me is that they, we did the Bill Laimbeer classic card earlier this week, where I was talking about Scotty probably getting a mask like Bill Laimbeer. And then like 5 seconds later, I pulled the classic card. And it was Bill Laimbeer with a mask on. It was like, whoa, that's freaky. And it was like telepathy. And then what did they do? Like a day after, they did a really fun game with the Raptors at practice where they had to guess the same word together. And they were kind of like, there was themes. And then like Chris and Grady got it at one point. It was really eerie. They both said ball at the same time, ball. And they're, oh, we did it. And it was the telepathy game. And I was like thinking, man, well, I was doing telepathy on my channel like the day before they did this. I don't know. Either way, if they're having problems figuring out ideas and concepts for what they want to do with content and what they're trying to do on their shows, I don't mind being a little seedling for them to help them in certain ways. It's not a problem with me. I mean, honestly, I'm flattered. And then, once again, my goals on this aren't to get that or get notoriety. I will get what I get as the amount that I need, as far as like whatever. I don't care. Over time, maybe Lex and the Raptor Freaks will be more mainstream and known overall around the world with different Raptors fans. But right now, I'm perfectly happy with my small little slice of niche audience and doing what I'm doing, because it is true. RFF has ripple effects across Raptors culture and what's going on. It's just the damn truth. I mean, we're showing up every day and we're talking about this. They're listening. I know they are. Smooth saying Lakers had 41 free throws. The Raptors had 13. Refs were just desperate for the LeBron show to win last night. I don't even feel like that's what it was. It's tough. I mean, look, I would normally go with this storyline, but I think really a big part of it is that, when the Lakers came out last night, they looked so much more stronger than us. They looked very physical and we looked like we were getting beat around and very weak. And in some ways, that is sometimes indicative of foul discrepancy, is because one team's just bigger and stronger and aggressive, and the other team is trying to stop them. They're not doing very well on defense, and they're fouling them. So, I normally would make a big deal about a foul discrepancy, But if you watched the game last night and you saw how it went down, the Lakers blew us out, and we were just trying to come back. And in some ways, the free throws, I could say, yeah, RJ, he should have got more free throws for sure. Oshai probably should have seen the line too. But yeah, I don't get Austin Reeves' phenomena that this dude gets so many free throws. It annoys the hell out of me. I mean, in some ways, I'd be fine with LeBron getting all those free throws. Anthony Davis, fine. Getting 11 free throws, that makes sense. The dude is really hard to guard, and these guys are fouling him on purpose just to try and stop him from making the basket. But Reeves is the one I just don't understand. If Reeves can get all these foul calls, where are the calls for Gray Dick? Where are the calls for RJ Barrett? And that's the one that pisses me off. The fact that Austin Reeves had one more free throw attempt than the whole entire Toronto Raptors team last night. That's messed up, Rodney Mott. Come on, man. What are you doing, Rodney? I love you, bro. You're awesome. You're one of the best referees in the history of the NBA. So why does this happen? That Austin Reeves, one player on the other side, gets more free throw attempts than the whole entire other team. Yeah, that's a big red flag right there. Trevor's saying, Smooth, are you watching the WWE pay-per-view today at 1 or 2 p.m.? There's another pay-per-view on WWE today? Interesting. Smooth saying at Trevor, absolutely, it's 1 p.m. Don't miss it. There you go. Look at these guys. These are wrestling heads, wrestling fans. I have no idea who's wrestling. I don't want to know. I don't care what the pay-per-view is called, but I'm glad you guys are into it. That's right. Cowboy's saying, did you say a trans ref? What? Yeah, there's a trans ref in the league. You didn't know that, Cowboy? Yeah. Don't let them other people, Cowboy. If you're listening to some crazy right-wing media and you're getting fed all kinds of bullshit from people like Paul Revere and Doug Ford, Cowboy, you need to stop listening to those people. People that are telling you that trans people are evil or wrong. No, that's not true. And Shea Flores is a great person. And regardless of Shea's gender or changing gender, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, they have been refereeing this league for a couple of years now, and they're actually one of the up-and-coming upstart refs in the league right now, Shea Flores, the third ref tonight. That's right, trans ref. That's right. Smooth saying, Trevor J, Nia Jax better win, man. Okay, all right. Nia Jax is wrestling today? All right, then. All right. She better not hurt anybody. That's what I'm understanding. Brian's here. Good to see King from To The Point, y'all. Check out Brian's channel, T.O. The Point, with Brian and his crew, Coach Roach and the rest of them. What's up, Freak Nation? I apologize for my rant here, but fuck. All right. These fake-ass Raptor fans cheering every time LeBron touched the ball, wearing their goat masks and crowns, and then the loudest ovation for Bronny and chanting his name. Where was that energy for Walter in his first game? Get the fuck out. You are speaking to my heart, Brian. Listen, that goat mask was weird, man. I can't believe they let that dude into the arena with that mask on like that. And somebody's like, whoa, wait a second. No. What are you doing here? Oh, he probably wasn't wearing it when he walked in. He was just holding it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, LeBron is the GOAT of this era for sure. And yeah, in some ways, I mean, the adulation for LeBron James, I don't hate on that. It's deserved. There's a lot of people that love LeBron for a lot of different reasons. I love LeBron because he voted for Kamala. And, you know, that's a good reason to love him. It's a very good reason. But otherwise, it's always been this way. LeBron James in Toronto. It's kind of like The Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 18. It's like everybody was supposed to cheer for The Rock, but Hogan has this town down locked from years and years ago, whether it's fighting the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6 in Skydome, whatever. Hulk Hogan's town is Toronto, and people need to know that. Well, in some ways, as much as LeBronto is a thing that made up, LeBron has a connection to our city with a lot of the residents here. In some ways, it's different because we have such a multinational city, people from around the world, and Bron is such an international star. That's part of it. In some ways, Bron's going to have more fans here than he is in Oklahoma City. He's going to have more fans here than he is going to have in Milwaukee. You know, it's that kind of stuff. So it's just a symptom of Toronto's multiculturalism and so many different people from around the world, and Bron being such a mega superstar for like 25 years now. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is, Brian. And I'm with you. I was disgusted with it, too. And, yeah, them chanting for Bronny at the end of the game. This ain't no Boban Marjanovic bullshit here. bringing this in there. Yeah. We have a trans ref in this league, Cowboy. If you weren't knowing that, yeah. Smooth saying, anyways, no more WWE talk. Sorry, Lex. It's all good. I don't mind talking a little bit about it. It's just I don't know anything about current wrestling, so I can't comment on it from an intelligent way. I can say stuff like, yeah, Nia Jax needs to not hurt people. Because that's true, right? Nia Jax hurts female wrestlers all the time, apparently. Yeah, let's see. Cowboys saying alley-oop to Trini King. All right, we'll give Brian a dunk today. Why not? We'll give Brian a dunk. Let's see. You know what I'm going to do, Bradley, real quick? I'm going to give you the Farmer's Almanac real quick on this day. You know, we had a new moon recently. It is a time change tonight, guys. Just so you know, we're falling back with the daylight savings time. It's always kind of screwy, the daylight saving time, and like a West Coast road trip is always happening. Now, let's think about this. We're getting an extra hour tonight. It's going to flip back to 1 o'clock at 2 a.m. tonight. And then we're going to go out west, and we're going to play Mountain Time in Denver on Monday. Does this favor the Raptors, the fallback and traveling out west? Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. It's like a logic puzzle. If anybody can figure this out right now, that's watching me right now, is the Raptors going on a West Coast trip to Denver with the fallback time change tonight an advantage or a disadvantage for the Raptors? Think about it logically. I can't think about it in the right way to figure it out, because in some ways you got to think about the fallback of the hour, the time change, the way that works, and when do they play normally, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time, like they will tonight, 7:30 p.m. at the Scotiabank Arena against the Sacramento Kings. Well, when are they going to be playing on Monday night in old time with fallback and time changes? Is it going to fall at the regular time because of the fallback time change? And then, like, also we're going to Mountain Time? I don't know. If anybody can figure out this logic puzzle and tell me, that'd be awesome. For some reason, I'm not clicking on. Whoa. All right, I was going to give Bradley the Farmer's Almanac real quick. Today is the best day to begin logging. Breed animals. Hopefully the animals together, not you with them. Brew beer or cider. Okay, there you go. Plant above ground crops, slaughter the livestock, and then start projects. There's a lot you can do today. The stars are all in alignment for all those activities, according to the Farmer's Almanac, the old Farmer's Almanac, a clip that we do sometimes on this channel, but not every day. It's sometimes fun to do. All right, let's keep going. Nako's crying right now. That's funny. Cowboys saying, fuck the Lakers. Let's go Raptors. There you go, spray paint. There you go. I like it. Most saying stars of the game, RJ and Grady. For sure. Yeah, 30-point Warriors out there messing things up, kicking some butt. Yeah, Grady was really good. He was so smooth last night in his offense. It really came to him. He looked for space to operate, and man, he is progressing so quickly. It's amazing to think about where he was at this time last year and where he is right now. It's unprecedented in some ways, the growth. He's going to have to go to the Rising Stars Challenge this year. He needs to be in that game. NBA, don't overlook Grady Dick. He's the second leading scorer in his rookie class right now, behind Chet Holmgren. And that means something. Grady is putting up some numbers. That's right. That's right. Cowboys saying we're going to win by 13 tonight. Okay. All right. I hope so. I want to win tonight. I do want to get another W. I don't like our record getting so nasty. And in some ways, we need to collect W's still here and there. So maybe we can. I mean, in some ways, this is a tough back-to-back for the Kings. They're coming from Atlanta. They played last night too, but they had to travel. We got to stay home, just go back home to your bed, get up and come back to the arena and play again. In some ways, that's an easier back-to-back than getting on a plane from Hartsfield to Pearson and coming in. Who knows, DeMar DeRozan and them came in last night around 3 a.m. to get to Toronto. So, yeah, in some ways, that is something that can be an advantage for us on this back-to-back. A home-and-home back-to-back is much easier than a traveling back-to-back. And in some ways, well, we'll see. We got young players that are energetic, and they bounce back quicker too. So we'll see. We'll see. The Kings are interesting. Scouting them, you know, they've kind of had a mixed results of success and failure so far this season. They've pretty middling. You know, we'll have to see the fit of De'Aaron and DeMar and DeMontis, the 3Ds, the 3D attack. De'Aaron, DeMar, and DeMontis. That's right. Yeah, and Kevin Huerter. Watch out for him, Grady Dick. I want to see that next white boy matchup. We had Austin Reeves, Grady Dick last night. Well, it's Kevin Huerter and Grady Dick tonight. Let's see what happens with that one. Yeah. Let's see what happens there. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. That's right. Let's see. Andrew's saying that Grady and RJ made the Raptors history. First time two Raptors scored 30 in back-to-back games. That's cool. I didn't know that factoid. That's very cool. It seems like that could be not true, but maybe you are right, Andrew. That if you saw that, that's true. That could be true. I mean, was there ever a time? I mean, I guess 20 and 20s, but 30 and 30. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, Andrew. Very cool factoid there. Yeah, really, Andrew? Let's go. All right, Andrew, let's give you a dunk for bringing us an interesting factoid this morning. First time ever, two Raptors did a back-to-back 30 games together. That's right. There may have been one guy who did 30 and the other guy did 30, but the next game, the other guy didn't do 30. I get it. Let's see. Smooth saying our home crowd was garbage. Exactly what I thought. It is what it is. In some ways, look, I'll give it a pass because I understand when LeBron retires, this changes. And in some ways, the Laker fans will still come to Laker games, but it won't be the same in some ways. And hopefully the Lakers won't be so powerful. And in some ways, they won't be able to come in. That's the problem. Like the Lakers have beat us 4 straight games in a row. We usually beat the Lakers. When Kyle was on our team, we beat the Lakers all the time. We had a streak of beating the Lakers with Kyle Lowry on our team that got broken when he left. And that was annoying. In some ways, it was like DeMar and Kyle took extra special delight in destroying the Los Angeles Lakers while they were Raptors. And they did. We beat the Lakers like left and right for a long, long time. Now we lost to them 4 straight. I don't like that. We need to get that back. We need to start evening it out with them a lot more often. That's right. Yeah, there were a lot of Lakers fans there, to be honest. A lot. Yeah. Narco's saying we want Bronny calls were annoying. Yeah, we want Bronny. Okay, you get Bronny. There's your little Bronny for 7 seconds. It's such a weird feel around that team. I feel like Bronny doesn't feel natural in what they're doing to him. It doesn't feel natural. I would say the Lakers are doing really good this year. They have a good coach. I think JJ's good, and they are doing things more correctly. But the Bronny thing is a weird little subset of the whole thing that's kind of a distraction and maybe not conducive to what they're trying to do and stuff. I don't know. He's just a fraud to me. I know he is. LaFraud Jr. That's what he is to me in some ways. I know he is. Like, this dude is not Jamal Shed. This dude is not Jonathan Mobo. Jonathan Mobo out there, I'm like, yeah, if there's any kind of worries that Jonathan Mobo's in this league just because of Scott and he doesn't really belong in this league, no, that's not true. Jonathan Mobo is a bona fide NBA player, and he's proven it on the court pretty much every single day he's been out there playing so far this season. It's not like Bronny where they're hiding some sort of weird shit about him. It's like, we can't play him too much. He's going to be exposed as not belonging here. I could have said that. Like, okay, Giannis has Thanos. We have Mobo. They have Bronny. But no, Mobo does not go in the category with the younger Enacomto brother and the James Jr. No. Jonathan Mobo belongs. Jonathan Mobo was not a charity case. Just appease Scotty. No, this dude came on his own merits, and he's showing up on his own merits, and he's doing it on his own merits. And this dude is an NBA player. I can't say that about Bronny James. I really can't. I could barely say that about Thanos. Seriously. So in some ways, I like this about Mobo. Is that in some ways we can say, yeah, we did this to appease Scott. No, this dude's bona fide, and this was actually a really good value pick as the first pick in the second round, the first ever second round in the NBA draft. This is a history-made pick that Jonathan Mobo will go down in history as the first player ever picked on a second night of a draft in the NBA history. Speaking of history, let's go to the Instagram stories real quick. Jamal McGlure put on blast that yesterday was the history of the original NBA game first ever played in Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens versus the Knicks versus the Huskies. That happened on November the 1st, 1946. And it was the anniversary of that yesterday, guys. It was November the 1st. So Jamal McGlure putting on that on blast from Maple Leaf Gardens, Toronto native, proud of the first game in Toronto in the history of the NBA. That is a big deal. He's also got this weird clip of this guy who got his ball stuck up really high in the gym. And he's like climbing on the pipes up above the floor. It's so crazy just to get his ball. It's so nuts. I saw this clip like a month ago, and I was like, dude, that guy's crazy, man. I would never get up there. And the way he climbs up there and stuff, he's got really good arm strength. Really, really good arm strength. Yeah, and this is a crazy footage of actual footage of old heads listening to this generation of rappers, and they're just sad. Yeah, it's true, Jamal. Jamal, we're in the same age bracket, and man, you're exactly right. It's sad what's happened to that genre of music. With yeah, Young Thug's free, guys, but he's on probation for like 40 years, and he's not allowed to ever go back to Atlanta. It's such a weird thing, man. That probation, that deal for Young Thug is messed up. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see, Davion Mitchell on his Instagram. He's walking in. He's got a lady from the Black Panthers on his shirt. He wears a cool shirt every time. It's like he's different, like leaders and stuff. He had Ali. He had Frederick Douglass, and now I don't even know her name, but she's a Black Panther. I've seen her in the history of things. There he is getting daps coming in on the starting lineup introductions. Grady Dick on his Instagram showing him dribbling past D'Angelo Russell against the Lakers last night and putting up those 31 points. Good stuff. There's the graphic of him and RJ with their 30-point games the Raptors put out. There's Grady coming into the game with a black jacket on in the hallway. And yeah, just good stuff. Grady, you were awesome from three last night. You were very money and top-notch, quick release shots that were just money, man. I'm so happy we have Grady Dick, guys. He's that kind of shooter we wanted, like a Sam Hauser, like a Max Strus, that kind of player that's just money for threes. I love it. The Raptor is at courtside messing with people at the game last night. He's like taking this lady's scarf from her, and then he like puts it around her shoulder. Okay. Raptors always being playful. There's fourth quarter time from last night. Get hype. We could have actually won, maybe, to get that crowd going. But alas, we had half the crowd rooting for the other team. Kyle Lowry showing off his Halloween costume. It's very kind of freaky. I don't know. He's got a Stella Artois, and he's shooting a bird. And who the hell? It's like an alien. He's got some sort of weird alien costume. What the hell is going on with you, Kyle Lowry? That is weird, man. And things are really messed up in Philadelphia. Joel Embiid coming out saying that y'all criticizing me for not playing in games after all I've fucking done for this city. He said that. He dropped the F-bomb and said that. And man, Sixers fans, ooh, they're like, what have you done for us? Oh, man. Philadelphia is a dumpster fire. Really, really bad one. And Nick Nurse is in the middle of it, all butthole facey. That's right. We see Kyle Lowry at the Sixers Halloween party, and it looks like if Jakob Poeltl was Luigi, we found Mario. Mario is Aiden Boma, the rookie from the Sixers, was wearing a Mario costume with no Luigi. So Jakob and Aiden Bona were like the Super Mario Brothers. There's a Grinch there. Not sure who that is. And who the hell is that Joker? That's a freaky looking Joker. Where's Waldo? Oh, Paul George. Well, I don't know. He's on the injured reserve still. That's where he is. That's where Waldo is. That's where Waldo is. Oh, all right, let's see. Is there anything else that I want to go over here from the game last night on the Instagram stories? No, just regular stuff. Oh, they're building a mural downtown, a mural of Air Canada Carter on the side of a building. It's really nice. They did this stuff before, like with the championship and Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, there's a nice new mural downtown Toronto, probably somewhere on Queen Street. Vince Carter with his windmill dunk from the iconic dunk contest. The very, very cool. They're honoring Vince left and right. This guy, listen, Vince, dude, if you deserve it or not, Toronto's honoring the hell out of you. And you got to be touched by this. Seriously. There's your Instagram stories right there. That's right. Instagram stories. That's right. Let's go. Kareem Thomas is here, the butt dialer. The free throw disparity is one thing, but we also actually scored 10 more baskets than them. We are beating teams analytically, and the W's will come. Eric Curry, the semen specialist, I attribute to this development. The semen special? What is that? I've never heard of that position. That don't sound right. What are you doing, man? The semen specialist? Whoa, I hope that's a misspell or like an autocorrect, because that doesn't sound right, man. We don't have to have that on our team, do we? That's not sounding right. Okay, pause. All right, let's see. All right, we'll go look at the team stats because this is what Kareem's talking about. Yeah, because this is true. We actually beat the Hornets and the Nuggets in team stats overall, but we just didn't get the win, which is like mystifying to me. Normally, if you're going to win rebounds, points in the paint, all kinds of categories, you're going to win the game. But in some ways, it does. Kareem's exactly right. This does bode well for the future. If we're winning the categories, we're just not turning them into W's. It's very strange. It's a young team. It's a signature of it. Yeah, we outshot the Lakers 49%. They shot 48%. We did make 10 more field goals than them. We manufactured like 20 more shots than them. So we out hustled the hell out of them. We did a lot of good things. Yeah, that's crazy. The 3-pointers weren't that much of a discrepancy. They got one more three than us, 11 to 10. We did shoot 29 from three, 29%. That's no good. They shot better. The free throws were a big deal. They got plus 25 points at the free throw line because of the huge discrepancy in how many they were getting. And that was absolutely the difference between us getting more shots and shooting better than them. We out rebounded them by 14 rebounds, including 15 offensive rebounds. That's really good. Those are guys getting after it. So there's all kinds of hustle in the stats. It's very apparent. 35 assists to their 29. So we're connected and we're getting really good assist totals in these losses this week. So I like that too. Our stocks were 10 to 11. We got 4 steals and 6 blocks. They had one less turnover than us. We actually kept the ball pretty good. There's a long period of time in the game where we weren't causing very many turnovers at all. And Jack said, oh, that's the first turnover in like forever. 11 turnovers total for the young Raptors last night. And that's not bad. Fast break points, we beat them 22 to 16. And points in the paint, plus 10 for the Raptors, 68 to 58. So, yeah, now the foul calls, 29 to 17. Yikes. 29 fouls on the Raptors, 17 on the Lakers. Yeah, I mean, these are really good things. And I think you're talking about analytics as far as Eric Curry, not Seaman. And, it's true. There's a lot of good indicators statistically that the Raptors are going to be okay. It's just that we need to tighten up and remember how to win even with all those good stats. And we will. We'll learn. This is the journey the young rebuilding Raptors are on. We're going to beat them on certain things like the boards, less turnovers. Well, the wins are going to come eventually, especially when the talent returns from the injury list. That's what I'll say right there. Stargate's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. It's going to be difficult to beat any team with the amount of significant manpower out with injuries. Soon as I saw AD and Russell were going to play, I knew it would be difficult to win. Yeah, they were probable. It was more likely that they were going to play, and they did. And they were pretty good. D'Angelo Russell's a weird player in Lakers Nation. A lot of people hate him. They want him to go away. In fact, when they announced that D'Angelo was going to be available yesterday, a lot of the Lakers fans were like, oh, no, I wish he wasn't. We're more likely to lose because Russell's playing. That's what some of the Lakers Nation was saying after they announced he was going to play for sure. So that's kind of weird in some ways. It's like, oh, yeah, your starting guy is going to play. Oh, no, we don't want that. Now, Davis, I can totally understand why they'd be overjoyed that Davis is available and he's going to play. Yeah, very interesting. Good morning to you, Stargate. Good to see you. Smooth saying, well, like I said, what will get me through the season is looking at it like it's 95 all over again. Yeah. And it's fun. In some ways, they're plucky. They're energetic. There's fun, exciting plays still, even if we're not winning. And we're seeing like really cool kind of new players that are going to be fun to watch in the years to come. As Masai said on the broadcast, Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, Scotty Barnes, these are our future players. And we got to see them grow and get better and better. I think there's a lot of promise with Walter from some of the things we saw last night. Obviously, Dick is fulfilling his promise more and more every day. And obviously, Grady, Scotty, if he gets healthy, he comes back and he can play sooner, he can continue to elevate his play at the level he's at too. So there's a lot of bright things going on right now. It is so bright. I just have to do this. That's right. So bright. G saying it took LeBron and AD to play the entire fourth and the refs to beat a rebuilding injured Raptors. Well, when you put it that way, I need a darker tint. It's so bright right now. When you put it that way, G, yeah, I need to put an extra tint level on this because that's so bright. Oh my gosh, that what you're describing there. This is so true. I mean, they played some of these guys that play for their team. LeBron, 20 years. AD's played 16 years or something. He's been around a long time. I feel like he's been around a long time. Yeah, the experience factor is huge in this situation. And that's what Jakob said. You're playing against LeBron and Anthony Davis and that team, they're going to pick apart your mistakes. And if you make any, they will make you pay for them. That's right. But yeah, I love this. I love this outlook. And I think that you're right. It took that much to beat an injured rebuilding Raptors team. It's crazy. Not saying most teams aren't sending the C team to finish the game up. Yeah, this is true. I mean, against the Nuggets the other night, I was at the game. I saw it with my own eyes. Jokic and Murray had to very much carry their team to that victory to come back against the Raptors in overtime. And, it took all the best players of the Hornets to take care of the Raptors, rookies, and missing Scotty and Emmanuel and Kelly. Yeah. Yeah, this is boding well. But the one thing also is if we're not going to have the guys healthy altogether at any single times, this could be the way it is for most of the season. What's happening? It's just not adding up to wins because it's just some components are just not available and they're in street clothes. This is kind of how it went at the second half of last year when Scotty went out. You can also remember, people were missing because of bereavement. RJ and IQ were out for periods of time too. And that really hurt our team and decimated it. And now all of a sudden we're playing Javon Freeman Liberty and Jordan Wara in the starting lineup and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's interesting where we're at and what we have to deal with and maybe gauging it against these other teams that are playing top level stars for the whole game. And we're still kind of competing. So, yeah, there's some promise here. There's some promise. Nako saying, oh, yeah, I read that one. Andrew saying, crazy that Grady is averaging 20 points per game at 20 years old. I like that graphic they put up last night of the 3 Raptors that scored a certain amount of points by the age of 21. And it was Scotty, Chris Bosh, and Grady Dick. They're the 3 guys that have scored, I think it was like 30 points before they turned 21. And that was cool. That's very small company for our team. That's very, very small company. Yeah, Stargate saying if they put Jacoby on the Grady development program, man, he will be great for the Raptors. Yeah, and that's probably the plan. I mean, he's gone to 905 and suited up and did the training camp with them this week. So all indications are he's going to get some time down there and get to do what he does. He may play them around the same amount that Grady did. Grady only played 12 games in G League last year. And in some ways, that was enough. That was enough to wake him up and get him going and get that strength training around Christmas. And then, boom, the second half of the season, off to the races. I think that Jacoby looks stronger than Grady did at the beginning of his career yesterday. Seriously. I think in some ways he looked less shaky. He looked less weak. And he looked more like he belonged than Grady did last year in November at this time in his rookie year. So in some ways, you could maybe say that Walter is a little bit ahead at where Grady was at this point in his rookie year already. So even though he was hurt for all of training camp, which is crazy. Stargate saying if they put Jacoby on – oh, wait, I just read that one. Smooth saying, yes, as much as I dislike the Lakers, when you have a 2 top 75 players versus a rookie team, it's likely a long night. Yeah, that's a very – that's just seriously, they talk about LeBron James may be the greatest player to ever play in the NBA, and you're playing against him last night. And there was a little bit to the slow start of the team last night, and they even admitted it last night. Darko said it in the interview after the game that our guys were a little starstruck. I mean, that's common. I mean, I was on Twitch one day with Terrence Ross, and he was recounting his first game in the NBA against the Lakers with Kobe Bryant. And he was such a huge Lakers fan as a kid. And Kobe Bryant, a huge fan of his, he was like, how people get around celebrities like, oh, hi, they get all like in their head and like, oh, I can't believe I'm near him. And they fan out, you get all fanboy, fangirl. Oh, it's LeBron. Oh, it's Kobe. Terrence described this very explicitly on his Twitch stream one day. I was in there. He said, guys, you don't understand. You go to the game and you see your hero and he's across from you. And you feel like so many different emotions about that. And it's hard to keep your head straight because you're just kind of like starstruck. It's a real thing. It happened to me when we went to LA. It was like, and he is like talking about that because he was watching the highlights of it. And he's like talking about Kobe Bryant and this and Kobe Bryant that. So it's understandable. Guys like Jacoby Walter, even Grady Dick in his second year, they get a little pinch me moments. It's like, holy crap, I'm guarding LeBron. I mean, Jonathan Mobo had to guard LeBron last night. And in some ways, you look how far you've come, Jonathan, to the point where you're guarding LeBron James. And where were you last year? San Francisco. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's understandable for these guys to get the first rights initiation into the NBA of being starstruck by the first time they play LeBron James. And in some ways, that's what Darko blamed for the slow start last night. Yeah, these guys were shaky. They're a little starstruck in the game last night. They were. Well, that's par for the course with rookie team against, possibly the greatest of all time. Well, at least for this era, I would say that for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah. Smooth saying Grady is a good one, man. He is. He's really good. He's steady. His mechanics are awesome. And one of the things you see with Grady when he shoots is he's getting shooters bounce. And that's just like optimally the best. This is where the spin, way it hits the rim, it's going to give it more chances, just like Kawhi's 4-bounce shot. And Grady's got it like that. That's the signs of a true technician, a true technician. If it's like, I would make this analogy for you guys on a WWE pay-per-view day. If this is wrestling, well, Grady's Bret Hart as far as he's technically masterful. How about that? How about that? Andrew's saying, honestly, I thought it was going to be a blowout. AD has been on a heater. Yeah. Yeah, he killed us. We did do pretty good stymieing him in the second half. We kind of got him to miss more and get in trouble. Jakob was doing a good job physically with him in certain places. Most people won't point to that or talk about that, but there were times where we were making it very frustrating for Anthony Davis in the second half last night. He was really good in the first half. He kind of cooled off in the second half, and he wasn't as big of a factor in the second half. And I give a lot of credit to our big men, Anthony Davis getting slowed down by Jakob and Jonathan. Jonathan had to guard a lot of different ways there. We didn't see Bruno Fernando out there really last night either, which was weird in some ways. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Nako's saying Grady, Bilal, and Wemby are having the best sophomore seasons. I heard Koulibaly went off recently in the last couple of days and just went nuts. Yeah, I mean, I knew that kid was going to be good. In some ways, is this going to be weird where like Bilal Koulibaly actually has maybe a little bit more success than Victor because of certain things? This Victor thing's weird. It's not, Wembanyama is not exactly a slam dunk, so to speak. Choice words there. In some ways, for being what they think he should be for the next generation of the NBA. It's very, very interesting and weird. Smooth saying Lakers staying in town to watch the Vince ceremony. Yeah, they're not going to go anywhere. In some ways, that says a lot. I mean, LeBron and Vince had a lot of their careers cross over with each other. So there's a lot of battles there. In some ways, they kind of missed each other at like ships in the night as far as their peaks. Vince really peaked early. He peaked so early, and LeBron was not in the league yet when Vince kind of like peaked his best here in Toronto. Vince tries to say his peak years were in New Jersey, but yeah, okay, maybe statistically, but your peak and your excitement and the aura around you was in Toronto. There's no lie on that. And, LeBron didn't really show up until like 2006 or 7. And by then, half man, half amazing was half washed. And so we didn't really see the battle that was Kobe versus Vince in the early 2000s as much as Vince versus LeBron, because LeBron hadn't come up to his full strength by the time Vince had already kind of fallen off at that point. But them having such a long carry crossover in their careers and them both being so longevity. And also, LeBron's going to go break Vince's record. I think that's what he wants to do. This year is 22nd year, and only two guys have played 22 years in the league, Vince and LeBron this year. Well, if LeBron plays next year, he will get the longest overall career in the NBA's history, beating Vince Carter. So that's probably going to likely happen. But yeah, him being there, I don't know if LeBron's going to be a part of the ceremony today. In some ways, he doesn't fit. In some ways, he doesn't really have anything to do. In some ways, he'd be a distraction from the whole event and maybe kind of ruining the belle of the ball, Vince Carter. So maybe Vince would not want LeBron to be prominently there, but maybe he does because he's like, oh, yeah, no, I want LeBron to come out and honor me while I'm getting honored. I don't know. I think that he'll probably privately watch it. Who knows? Maybe LeBron's in a box somewhere in the arena when it's going on. Who knows? We'll have to see. But the Lakers are staying in town for this, apparently. Why the fuck would they go to Detroit today? What the fuck are they going to do in Detroit right now? Cross the border into Windsor and go to the strip clubs? No. They're going to stay in Toronto to see history being made. The Raptors are going to retire their first jersey ever in their franchise history tonight. And why wouldn't they? JJ Redick, like they said in the broadcast, has connections to Vince from playing with him in Orlando. And, they're friends. So in some ways they want to be there and see what happens for him. G saying true, Nako, but the Lakers fans weren't happy because those are long minutes for an aging LeBron and fragile AD just to beat an undermanned Raptors. Good. Is this what Lakers Nation's saying on social media today? Oh, it took so much and we had to use our old guys so much. Well, the same things I say about Embiid, I'll say about Anthony Davis. Now, in some ways, Anthony Davis has had better health outcomes in the last 2 years, and he's stayed healthy and done very well for them. But they go as well as his health goes. And in some ways, this is true. This is a concern that JJ Redick may need to keep under advisement for the whole year is don't over rely on Anthony Davis because he is absolutely key for y'all to do anything in the postseason. So I would say that in some ways, the way that Nick Nurse has got to watch out with Joel Embiid is the same way with Redick in LA. Really, really true. Cowboys say Masai is a draft king. Let's grow, Raptors. That's right. Masai is a draft king. And screw that site. Kenny thinks that Jacoby was good. I agree, original Raptor Freak Kenny. Good to see you this morning. Kareem saying the time has come, and it just seems like we're going to have to live without a VC apology. It is what it is. He did leave disgracefully. It is more of a testimony of his character. Vince is basketball in Canada. This all can be true. This all can be true. And in some ways, it's true. Matt Devlin, Masai Ujiri trying to say time heals all wounds and the emotions will pass. In some ways, that's true. In some ways, I've gotten more okay with this in the last 10 days, partly because of Vince doing the broadcast and him being so present around Toronto in the last month with all the different events. This is all I wanted. I wanted to see a commitment to our heritage and our legacy of our franchise, Vince, and you're showing it. And in some ways, that's the thing I wanted the most. In some ways, you had been out there in the NBA world untethered to us for like 15 years since you left, or 20 years since you left. And now you're tethering back to us, all of a sudden making those ties and strengthening them to hopefully, you might get to the point where you can actually do endorsement deals back up here. And it's not like something that's negative or be like, yeah, I don't want to see Vince on my TV because he quit on us. Maybe you will fix things to the point where you can get money up here in advertising. That may be part of his motives for what he's doing. But also, healing is nice. It is nice. And in some ways, we're going to heal a little bit with Vince Carter tonight. Okay, so be it. I won't be such a staunch, off-putting person and say, yeah, I'll never forgive him. Fuck him. No, in some ways, we got to see how this goes. If it's classy. And also, I'm going to be listening to him all year. When he calls games, I want to hear him call games in a pro Raptors way, in a way that he's building up our team and our franchise and our players, instead of him just kind of denigrating them or having any kind of glee in us getting beat down because this season's a rebuilding year. So those are the kind of things I'll be listening for the rest of the year, Vince, if you want to hear what I'm looking for and what I care about. So, yeah, just respect our team, respect our culture, and respect our fans, because in some ways you didn't when you left. And that's what you need to make up for right there. Nako's saying, Bronny played? Damn, I turned it off at the free throw. Yeah, he played 7 seconds right at the end of the game. They did insert him right at the end. They stopped everything and they brought him in just for a second. He didn't play. He walked onto the court and then walked off of it. Oh, it's so stupid. Yeah, he played like 6 seconds. That's right. Kareem Thomas saying, Nako, Bronny played 7 seconds and was a -2. Yeah, RJ did that. I was like, RJ, score real quick. I was like, just score, RJ. RJ went into the basket and scored right at the end of the game. And that was awesome. I love that so much. Yeah. Kenny's saying these new fans are the worst. I remember back then at Jurassic Park where we booed anyone wearing LeBron Cleveland jersey. Yeah. I mean, these are weak people. These are people that you don't want in the foxhole with you when you're in the middle of a war because they're turncoats. And this is the thing. It's like people, it's real easy to root for the winning team every year. I've heard people say this. Like there was a skater I watched something on recently, a photographer that was a really famous photographer for skateboard magazines. And he said, I don't have a team. I just go with whatever team is winning that year. And I wear their jerseys and stuff like that. Oh, I hate people like that. It's like they just want to coast around with winning teams and they have no allegiance to anyone. Well, there's people like that in this city. There are people that will consider themselves maybe a Warriors fan one year, and they may consider themselves a Lakers fan next year. There's just a weak people that cannot root for losers because they are weird in their head, and it is whatever. In some ways, it's not about rooting for losers. It's about staying true to one team, your your beloved, And when you get to that pinnacle and you win a Larry O'Brien like you did in 2019, it's all the sweeter. Trust me. You turncoats that go with the flow of where the W's are going, whoever it is every year. Oh, maybe there's some of these people that are Thunder fans right now. Oh, yeah, Thunders are my best team. Well, I thought your best team was the Warriors. Wasn't it like the Warriors 2 years ago? Oh, no, this year it's the Thunder. I love the Thunder. Yeah, I have no respect for these kind of fans. Some of them are NBA fans, and they just are a fan of the whole entire league. And some of them are team fans, not team fans, player fans of people just like of LeBron. And they'll go wherever he goes and stuff like that. Yeah, it's annoying. We used to boo Cleveland and LeBron a lot. Yeah, because they were making a sting. But then there were gleeful little LeBron fans around here that were being little jackasses too, like my old Sri Lankan roommate, Bran. Yeah. I'm bringing up Bran today, which is pretty interesting. Of course, LeBron was in town last night. Of course, Bran's going to be on here. LeBran. I used to call him LeBran. We used to work at the Betty's Kitchen on King Street West. Bran, I met that guy. He was the best cook there, man. He's such a good cook. And Bran's a neat guy. He's actually a really cool dude, except for this stuff about talking trash about basketball. And we'd be in the kitchen, and this was during LeBronto. I was working in the kitchen, and we'd be playing Cleveland in the playoffs, and he would be a Raptors fan all season. And then he'd be like, "Nah, I'm going for Cleveland tonight." And then we'd put money on the game. We'd do like toonie bet on who's going to win. And while we're working in the kitchen, we're listening to the game, and he's just talking trash the whole time. He's at the stove talking trash to me, and I'm the dishwasher. I wasn't a cook. I was busting my ass prep dishwasher, and I was a high volume dishwasher. I could clean the hell out of dishes very fast, high volume. I was one of the best, honestly. But yeah, he would talk so much trash. It was so annoying. It's so annoying. I'm talking about Branny this morning. Branny. Old Branny in the Branny mobile. Bran, if you ever watch the Raptors Freak, man, just know you're getting shouted out right there. Respect. Even though you didn't pay your half of the rent and we had to kick you out. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. G saying, what did you think of the lineup that was all rookies and RJ? Realizing that Darko has a sink or swim style, they were down 20 and he put out this lineup. These rookies are learning in real time. It's so valuable. It's so valuable. In some ways, they're going to get thrown in the fire at some point. Might as well do it right away. Throw them in the deep end, just like Jack Armstrong said. I don't think there was an RJ all rookie lineup out there at any time. There was usually at least 2 older players and then 3 rookies out there. Because we didn't see Jamison Battle out there, so statistically that wouldn't have been possible. The only 3 rookies that played were Mobo, Shed, and Jacoby. So we didn't have RJ and all rookies. It may have been RJ, Grady, and 3 rookies, or RJ and Jakob and 3 rookies, or RJ and Chris and 3 rookies. Those kind of lineups there, yeah. But this is fantastic, and what you're describing here, G, is exactly right. In some ways, the development's scary. It's like being on a tightrope. You could fall, but the net's down there. No, there's no net. These guys aren't around. The vets aren't here. So if you do really bad, there's nobody else who can come in and save you. No IQ, no Barnes. So, yeah, Cowboys got Darko on blast. Andrew saying the Lakers broadcasters were talking about the free throw discrepancy at the end of the game, and they sounded guilty as fuck, laughing my ass off. Okay, good. You should feel guilty. In some ways, yeah, and maybe there is, as much as there's no moral victories, there's no shallow wins either. And this is shallow win. I think that the way G put this just a couple comments ago is exactly right. It took their absolute best to beat an undermanned rookie-laden Raptors team that's rebuilding with a free throw discrepancy advantage. They can't be proud of this. And somebody's like, yeah, Laker Nation may be a little bit crumbly and like upset about last night's game, even though they looked really, really good in the first half. They may be a little worried in some ways and like, damn, but this didn't look good. And if the announcers are feeling guilty about the free throw discrepancy, that says a lot. That says a lot right there. I love this. Andrew, a great comment, man. G saying RJ 2 free throws, Grady 0 versus Reeves 14. Would Reeves get this treatment on any other team? No, he wouldn't. You could switch Austin Reeves for Grady Dick, and he would not get any free throws on our team. It's totally a Lakers manufactured thing. And it's happened the last couple of years. Some people in Lakers Nation try to say Austin Reeves is a specialist at good at drawing fouls. That may be a little bit correct, but it's not just that. It's not that he does anything that much different than what Grady Dick does as far as first step and people stepping to him and maybe slapping their arms and stuff like that. And don't tell me that Austin Reeves doesn't get fouled. Austin Reeves gets fouled more than RJ Barrett. That's absolute bullshit. right there. That's right. Imagine if Grady was a Laker. I don't want to imagine that ever. Fuck that. I don't want to imagine that ever. Yikes. We do not want that. Wayne's saying Shed needs to calm down. What I see is he's giving small percentage of difficult passes. Calm down. Mitchell's response was about coach of the year getting fired. Mitchell and Casey, not Nurse. Oh, okay. But he said the last coach of the year. There's 3 coaches of the year. There's Mitchell, there's Casey, and the last coach of the year was Nick Nurse. But maybe you're right. He may have conveniently forgot about the Nick Nurse part of it. A lot of us have tried to forget about Nick Nurse at this point. But yeah, you might be right that the allusion was to Casey getting coach of the year and then getting immediately fired. So yeah, okay, you're probably right. Although, yeah, I don't know why I thought, well, he said the last coach of the year. Well, I thought Nick Nurse when he said that, because that's technically the last coach of the year. That's right. That's right. Okay, Wayne, but it's probably likely that you're right and that Sam was just a little woo, and he didn't say the second to last coach of the year. That's what he probably should have said. Yeah, I agree with the Shed stuff. Listen, in some ways, Shed has really interesting court vision. He's trying to throw really interesting passes to cutters and stuff, but he's not on the mark, and they're going out of bounds too often. In some ways, he's got to rein it in, and he understands that. Some of the unforced turnovers that come from Shed are very maddening right now, but that's part of being a point guard in the NBA. And in some ways, you're exactly right. He does need to calm down. There's a certain level of things where he could direct his energy into more like defensive tenacity and maybe like really trying to shore up making his shots. And the assist stuff, maybe not so daring and reckless with some of the stuff he's trying to do. Although some of it's paid off really well. Like that pass to Chris in the Charlotte game was badass, right up the middle, in the middle of traffic in transition. Finding him like that was awesome. But that could have been route with failure. Also, Chris's back is turned. He's not catching it exactly right. That's a very hard catch to make that Chris made from Shed in that transition play in the Hornets game on Wednesday. So, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. In some ways, Shed is, well, he's a rookie, and he's played how many games now in his career? And, well, he's advanced. I mean, he has a certain already downloaded NBA intellect and basketball intellect in him that, some people never even get in their whole entire career. So he comes already with it. I like that. I like that. Let's see. G saying RJ and Grady put up over 30 points all within the game. Only 2 points out of their combined 64 points were from the line. Think that is elite. Yeah, that is elite. Those guys are badasses. Those guys are scorers. And not only that, let's not discount the presence of Anthony Davis out there and just how difficult it is to score on the Lakers. They're annoying, man. I hate that they have so much length and some strength right now. It makes me even more mad to understand that they've got Koloko down the line when they have Davis and Jackson Hayes. And, LeBron is a certain type of shot blocking threat in certain ways, too, sometimes, if he wants to be. Yeah, it's annoying. In some ways, I wish we could have the luxury of a player with the wingspan of Anthony Davis. That would be so nice. Shamshay, come on down. Let's do this. Let's do this. That's right. That's right. UC's back. Good to see UC Alaco. Scotty, 88. It's an 89 overall by the end of the season, I bet. You're talking about the 2K rankings. Yeah, he said he wanted to get that up. That's what he said in that little clip where they were guessing their 2K rankings. And he said, yeah, this isn't low. I'm going to raise this by the end of the season. I bet on this. I'm going to make sure this happens. And I believe him when he says that. He needs to be healthy, though. He needs to be playing to be able to do that. They did Chris dirty. Oh, my gosh, they did Chris Boucher dirty in that clip. In the 2K thing with his speed rating and his passing rating. And everybody's kind of making fun of it and stuff like that. And Chris is like, if this is me, I'm going to be so mad. And he took it off, and it was him. And he was like, he wanted to break the board over his knee. And he's like, I'm coming after you, Rodney of 2K. he's like, you get this so wrong, Rodney. I mean, it's true. And I remember watching Chris on Twitch playing 2K one day. And he was like mad because he tried to play his character and he couldn't run up the court fast enough. And he's like, this isn't right. This isn't how I play. And it's so funny to like see the clip on TSN with them reacting to their 2K ratings. And I remember the day on Twitch when Chris was playing 2K and he brought it up. Yeah, I was playing 2K one day and I was trying to run up the court and my guy was so slow. Like, that's not how I am. You should look at me on the court, how quick I get up and down the court, NBA 2K and Rodney. How the hell do you make me so slow in that game? And he called him out on that clip. And I remember the day when he did it on the game, when he did it in the game, and he gave up on the game. He quit playing 2K after that. He's like, this is bunk. This is bullshit. They're going to make my characters so slow. I'm quitting. I remember when that happened. Chris is not on Twitch very often, but that was one day I remember. It was really crazy. Stargate saying it's funny. I remember both Scott Brooks and Nate McMillan as players. You know, this is one thing that struck me last night. The Lakers coaches are all former NBA players. Like, they have real experience, and we don't have that on our coaching staff. That's been one of the criticisms of Darko's coaching staff is we don't have any former NBA players. Sure, we got Mike Batiste, who's a Greek league legend and a European player over there that was absolutely badass. But technically, we don't have any NBA veterans in our coaching staff. And then you got JJ Redick, obviously. He has history in that Scotiabank Arena. Yeah, the Kawhi shot. And then we got, Nate McMillan, Mr. Sonic, and Scott Brooks, who's a former Sixer, former a lot of different teams, and a very extensive coaching career also. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Fuck you, JJ Redick, for still saying that you think Kawhi traveled on that play. Oh, he did not travel. That 4-bounce was amazing, man. That 4-bounce was amazing. UC saying, you're a true vet then, Stargate. That's right. Stargate's a real one. I don't know what he said in there, but yeah. Oh, because he remembers those guys as players. Yeah, I do too. In fact, you know what? Let's do this real quick. Since y'all brought it up, classic card of the day. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Nate McMillan or Scott Brooks in this. So let's see. 9:58 is the chat time. So we're going to go ahead and bring it down. And I'm going to get the classic card out, and y'all are going to guess it for me real quick so we don't forget. Yeah, this is not classic. This will be a newer card. So whoever can write the first name of this player, this first and last name together, will get the classic card points. Let's see if y'all can see this. This is too easy. In some ways, we just saw this player, right? He was just somebody we just played. But, yeah, this is not a classic card. It's pretty recent. It's shiny. It's a mosaic card. There you go. Seth Curry's on it. Naco the Nacho's got it right away. That is the offspring of former Raptor Wardell Curry, and it is Seth Curry, the younger brother of the Curry brothers. And, yeah, you know what? I was thinking about this when we were playing Charlotte the other day. Seth Curry's carved out a very good NBA career for being kind of just in the league for a while. You know, he's steady. He's steady. He's not a Thomas. No, that's for sure. He's not a Bronny James either. No, he's not. This guy belonged in the league, and he stayed in the league for a long, long time. And while he's on Charlotte right now, wearing number 30 like his dad did. But, yeah, there's the classic card of the day. It's an easy one, so I'm not going to give very many points here. Let's see. We'll put in Seth Curry. David is not lurking in here today. And who was it that got it? Who was right on it? Naco. Naco's getting the classic card today. There you go, Naco the Nacho. Getting in the classic card stuff with a more recent card. We'll give you 100. 100 points to Naco the Nacho for getting Seth Curry, number 30, not on this team, 31, for his old former, his father-in-law when he played for him on the Sixers. Look at that. Everybody got in there. KM knew it. Good to see you, KM and Fiercey and Smooth also. And Crisco. You thought you were first? On my screen, Naco's in there before you. And that's the one that matters, unfortunately. It may look like you're ahead on the screen, but on mine, it's got Gerald ahead of you. Unfortunately. Sorry about that, KM. All right, let's see. We're back on the chat at 9:58. Fiercey saying our defense was garbage. We allow so many corner threes. It's crazy. We've improved on offensive schemes, but defense is indeed bad. Yeah, the threes by Hashimura at one point were annoying. D'Angelo Russell hitting some very tough contested threes at times too. LeBron stepping into threes is annoying. Yeah, the defense needs work. In some ways, Jakob is not enough for physicality down low. We've seen this earlier this season against the Cavs. The tag team of Allen and Mobley were very effective against just Jakob. And in some ways, I would say one of the things that the Raptors need to get to the next level when they're ready is they're going to need a more steady power forward that is absolutely defense oriented and maybe the enforcer type you guys have been saying we need recently. Because Scott, in some ways, he is our power forward, but he really isn't. He's our glue guy that's all around. And we may need somebody who's more dedicated to taking care of that big front guy stuff. Now, is it Shamshay? Maybe it is. Is it Mobo? Maybe it is. I say this, Mobo, you need to hit the weights just like Grady because we need you to get looking like Serge Ibaka with your arms as soon as possible. How about that, Jonathan? I'll give you that, J-Mo. Get out there and get some Serge Ibaka arms ASAP. And maybe you can be our big power forward enforcer kind of guy who's of the future for us. In some ways, this is something we need. We need more all hands on deck in fighting for defensive position, rim protection, and rebounding around the rim, because that is the place we're getting exploited in some ways. Jakob is not enough. Jakob is absolutely essential. Also, we need another guy, a second guy to tag team with him to help us up front. That's what it is right there. Yeah. Stargate saying really need to get the bodies back. Scotty Quick, Bruce Kelly. Yeah. I mean, I really do feel like Kelly would have helped in this. So once again, it's mystifying to me that Kelly's out like this. You know, maybe this is part of the reason why Jordy didn't play Kelly as much in the Olympics, because on the down low, he's kind of had nagging back injuries for a lot of this year already. Because Kelly did not play the normal minutes for Team Canada this summer. He really was an afterthought and didn't play as much. Stargate saying, I have a feeling Scotty is just going to say F it to the medical staff, mask up, and be back in about a week. Laugh out loud. I can see him doing that. I in some ways, I hope you're right. You know, that's part of what Joel Embiid's getting. It's like, I want to be absolutely 100% on my knee before I try and come back because I don't want to screw it up. And that's why he's holding off from coming back. In some ways, Scotty, some people may say this is a rebuilding year. We don't really care about wins. Scotty, get absolutely 100% before you come back. But maybe Scotty's like, you know what? I'll wear the mask. I want to get out there and help our team. If it's not a risk that I can further injure it because the mask protects me, then let me get out there. If I don't have to get surgery and cut open and heal from that, and I can just wear a mask and it'll heal underneath that, let me get back out there. Yeah, I hope this is true. In some ways, that would be awesome. It may be in the realm of possibility. We'll find out more on Monday when Scotty sees the specialist. We'll find out. He's definitely not going on this West Coast trip, so he'll be back in Toronto when all the rest of the Raptors are in Denver on Monday. Yeah. Andrew's saying, cool that DeMar will get to see the jersey retirement. He might even be a part of it. Seriously, I could see DeMar being out there on the court and talking about it on the microphone about Vince getting his jersey retired. He could be a presenter on it, seriously, because he has been outspoken recently about Vince Carter's impact on him and the culture of Toronto. Now, don't get it twisted. DeMar DeRozan understands how Vince hurt us, and he's talked about it very extensively. And that was part of the reason why he went so real for us and declared, I am Toronto, Mr. Toronto, because he knew how much Vince hurt us. And Chris, too. I mean, he saw what Chris Bosh did because he was on the team when Chris Bosh went to South Beach. So he felt that very much himself. So DeMar's more like one of our fans, like us, in the way he sees Vince. But also at the same time, he can separate it and give the kudos to Vince for his contributions to Raptors culture and what he means to our franchise. Because in some ways, DeMar understands that. So I could very easily see DeMar DeRozan, a very, very, very positive and beloved GOAT in our history, taking the microphone and talking about Vince at halftime today, even though he's on the op team. Now, maybe it's not allowed because Mike Brown's like, no, DeMar, you got to focus. We're playing the Raptors, and we don't want you doing that. Or maybe they allow him to do it. We'll have to see. Yeah. Name was saying that's a great point, G. Yeah, G's always full of great points. Honestly, he really is. Smooth saying at Fiercey, Corn 3D, a big problem. Lakers had 2 wide open looks in fourth. Oh, corner 3. The corner 3 has been Achilles heel for the Raptors franchise the last few years. Honestly, even Nick Nurse, when he was still coaching us, was not doing a good job of getting us to the corner 3. And last year, it was very much a problem, and it's still a problem this year. It's something we're going to have to figure out the schemes and better ways to get it. But, you know, part of it is the teams are really scheming really ingenious ways to free up corner 3s left and right in all kinds of ways with misdirections, swing passes, and screens and back cuts. So it's tough. It's tough to guard the corner 3 in today's NBA because you only have 5 players. You can't be everywhere. And if they're swinging that every which way and misdirections, woo, that's part of the fun the NBA coaches have is like, let's figure out how to get open corner 3s on other teams. And the problem is the Raptors don't have the most dependable corner 3 specialists on our team to take care of our side of things. When the other teams have money guys that are doing it. Oshai gets better at this. That'll help. That's right. Let's see. Fiercey's saying, yep, we definitely need to watch film and tighten up on the defense. Film, development, learning. As they said on the broadcast, winning is not necessarily winning the game every day. It's winning plays. It's winning the day. It's winning by progressing and getting better every day. That's the winning for the Raptors this year, is winning by getting better every single day and learning. And that's what we're doing. We're definitely doing that. And we're seeing very good jumps from people like Grady and Scotty already in the years of Darko. That's fantastic. You know, Darko had a lot to say about Grady's hard work this summer and getting to the point where he is. And this is partly the guidance and a team telling them what to do. The coaches are saying, look, we want you to develop this aspect of your game and this, and it'll help us immensely. And you're going to be such a better player. And the results are starting to show. In some ways, if Grady Dick has a huge jump from last year, which he's showing already, a lot of the credit should go to Darko's system of development and cultivating and allowing an environment for him to grow like this. Seriously, we can look at other teams that have young players and young cores, and they are not developing at a good pace or doing and showing any good signs like this, and they're just stagnating. You know, there's a lot of talk about the Pistons in this kind of way right now. You know, in some ways we could point to the Hornets and say maybe there's some of the development down there isn't exactly healthy or fundamentally right. It seems like the Raptors are developing their young players with fundamentals in mind and doing it the right way and not skipping steps. And that's a very powerful thing for us, for sure, right there. Yeah, Smooth saying both times the shooters were completely open, no resistance. Yeah. Well, blown assignments, young team, learning and figuring out the NBA and paying for it. UC saying, I feel our first ever superstar still deserves his number up in the rafters as a youngish Raptor fan myself. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know how old you are, UC. If you weren't there in 2004 and felt it as a cognitive aware person, whether how old you were, I don't know. You can't totally understand just how much Vince burned us. And Vince, with the V, became villain. He was a villain to our team for a very, very long time. That's why this doesn't come totally natural. If you think about the 22 years of Vince in the league, well, 6 of them were positive with the Raptors. And then the rest of them were very much he was enemy ops and not friendly to us. So that's the tough thing for people like this. Sure, it's great to watch the old dunk contest and revel in the crazy, amazing athleticism of what he did. But at the same time, you got to understand just how much of a lethal killer he became when he took that Nets jersey and he came back to Toronto and literally put us out of the playoffs himself single-handedly. You've got to understand, we had him on our team and we loved him. And he was our dude. And we, you know, it all went out the window. And then all of a sudden he was using all those amazing powers that he was using for us against us. And that's such a hard thing to like get across to younger fans that just didn't experience it in the real time at that present time. That's the tough thing right there. I think he deserves it too. But in some ways, like I said years before, and this is what a lot of people echo, Kyle Lowry needed to go up there first. But Kyle Lowry's got longevity in the league, and he hasn't retired yet. You know, in some ways, if the order should have been Kyle Lowry, maybe DeMar DeRozan, and then Vince Carter getting their jersey retired. It is what it is. The timing of it is what it's going to be. Nameless to say, my first star was Bruce Brown's outfit. It wasn't that bad. You know, Bruce is wearing the cowboy suit, and you know, I think that it's just his thing. In some ways, I like having a cowboy, urban cowboy in Toronto, a future-looking city. And this guy's walking around with a cowboy hat. You know, you notice Bruce will not wear the cowboy hat on the road very often. He's comfortable wearing it at home. But if he's on the road, he'll wear his Teva hat, which advertises the or whatever the cowboy boots he gave to everybody. He's obviously got a contract. He's trying to get them put on blast. But yeah, he doesn't often wear the cowboy hat on the road. It's probably an easy target for opposing fans in the arena to just talk trash to him from behind. But at our arena, he's wearing that cowboy hat on the bench. I like it. Yeah. Andrew saying Mobo reminds me of Draymond Green type player. Why does everybody want to compare everybody to Draymond Green? Like Scotty got compared to Draymond Green. Fuck this. I don't think Draymond Green's a good comparison for anybody. Because first of all, Draymond Green has a special status in the NBA that allows him to get away with so much bullshit. And there's not many players in this league that get that. Second of all, Draymond Green is not somebody people should aspire to be like. Trust me. In some ways, his defensive attitude and reputation is built on dirty play. And he's just been allowed to do that. So, no, I reject this. Just as much as they said Scotty was like Draymond Green, I will say Jonathan Mobo is not like Draymond Green. And I hate when people compare him to that. I kind of hate when people compare Grady to Klay Thompson too. Like, don't compare people to these Warriors bullshit artists, Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. No, don't compare them to these people. They're their own people. And Scotty is so much better than Draymond. And Draymond even admitted this in a podcast one day. Oh, Scotty's way better than me. He's way better than me. You're right, Draymond. Scotty Barnes is better than you. So, yeah, let's stop with the Draymond comparisons. I'm just sick of them. I'm sick of them. Wayne saying, I disagree. Booing tonight is just not appropriate. He's not playing against us. If he was booed, for sure, no doubt. But it's a ceremony. Let's demonstrate demonstrate forgiveness, but not forgiveness, but class. Still upset, but not for now. This is a mature way of looking at it. I don't think there will be many boos tonight. But I also say that if somebody wanted to boo, I want them to have the right and the privilege to do that. Because in some ways, we're getting strong-armed to retire his jersey. This has not been popular. They've done polls on this, and it's like very 50-50 whether people want this to happen. So there's a lot of the fan nation that is, in some ways, we're getting forced this on. And I don't like that in some ways. So as far as me going along with the whole idea of freedom of speech in this world and living in a free world against fascism, I feel like it's the right of people to express their opinions of booing this ceremony tonight if they want to. Now we can take the other side, and and Wayne is usually such a diehard and a cutthroat. This is interesting. He's saying, no, this would look bad on us. This may reflect badly on us if a lot of the crowd boos him, and we're trying to honor him at the same time. The rest of the NBA fans will be like, wow, Toronto is so classless. They cheered for Kevin Durant getting hurt in the finals, and now they're booing their own player for getting their jersey retired. I mean, I can see all those kind of tweets and social media statements in that kind of situation. And, Wayne, you're probably right. It's the high road, what you're talking about. But in some ways, some people may still have old habits that die hard. And that's Vince Carter in the Scotiabank Arena, Air Canada Center. Boo the hell out of him. Because that's what it was for 15 years, other than very select times. But I think you're right. I think overwhelmingly the response will be very positive and for him tonight. I think there will be. But if there are a couple of boos here and there, a handful of them, well, I want to protect their right to do that too. That's right. Stargate saying Mobo is way more athletic than Draymond. Yeah. Once again, I know it's natural to want to compare players and get a grasp on what they are and who they are. But once again, I also like the whole idea is like, Scotty is the only Scotty. Grady is the only Grady. That kind of mentality also. So let's see. Andrew saying young Dre was athletic. Yeah, I hate Draymond Green. I hate him so much. Andrew. Stargate saying dunk for Wayne. Yeah, we'll give Wayne a dunk for a voice of reason. And in some ways, this is not the normal color that Wayne paints as far as his statements on this thing. He's usually a very diehard kind of like keep the lines kind of up kind of guy. But in this way, this is probably very wise advice in some ways. So we'll give you a 5-pointer. 135 is where you're at, Wayne. Actually, you're 130. I'll just say 135. That's fine. All right, let's see. G saying, please, no booing at the ceremony. This will be aired and on record forever. Like Wayne said, let's show class and our youth how we treat jersey retirements. It's our first one. Let's make it a good one. All right. You guys are being, in some ways, I'm allowing for it, but you know what? You guys are right. You guys are right in a lot of ways. This is going to be for posterity. And, we don't need no clip in the future. I don't think that people are going to boo him. First of all, the people that would want to boo him, like me, are not going. I'm not going. So second of all, the people that went to the extent of buying a very expensive jacked up ticket to be at this game tonight are more likely to go there because they love him and they want to see him. So what I'm describing may not be very prevalent in the arena, honestly, because most of the people that are going, they really want to be there. They're going to pay extra money to be there. Monique said this ticket is not cheap for her to go down there today, that this was an expensive one. Because this is a special game. It is a very much a special game. Yeah. Andrew saying Shed and Shamshay on the 905 would be awesome. We want all of them down there. Battle, Mobo, Walter. All 5 of the rookies down there should be working together down there to extents, but coming up and helping us when injuries are happening with us. And that's part of the reason why they're playing so much. So we're very injury riddled at the beginning of the season. We need our rookies out there just to have bodies to fill a rotation. And that totally makes sense. Wayne's saying absolutely right. Shed should have his ass in the G League, not dissing him, but I see a lot of immaturity. He's trying, but in the wrong ways. Bruno, why do we have him? What are we saving him for? Use him. Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see Bruno last night maybe get some fouls on AD or something like that. You know, get in there and get mixed up, a physical presence. I'm surprised that Darko has not been playing Fernando as much recently. But then again, maybe he's trying to get him motivated. It could very well be that he sees a level that Bruno Fernando could play at better and put him in the doghouse for a little bit of time, makes him hungrier. This is a real coaching technique. If a player doesn't seem like they're giving the right amount of effort, we'll bench him for a few games. And when he gets that call the next time, see if he comes out the gate like crazy because he finally got freed. So that may be what's going on with Bruno right now, is he's maybe trying to light a fire under his ass and motivate him and say, look, you're not granted just the time out there. You're not necessarily our backup center right now. Mobo's getting it right now. And in some ways, if you want it, the next time I put you out there, you better be doing a lot of things right. So I think that's what's going on with Fernando right now, specifically right there. And yes, Shed should do stuff down in the G League for sure. Trevor's saying that's why I put a Lakers fan on my house last night. That's right. Trevor's so funny. Trevor's so funny. We're in the Facebook chat and Trevor's saying, yeah, there's this guy at my house right now. He's a Lakers fan. He's talking so much trash. I'm going to have to throw him out. So he threw him out. He threw this dude out of his house for disrespecting the host and the house that they lived in. You got to understand, man, you can't do this. I know for a fact, this kind of happened to me once. And I've talked about this on this channel once. In the mid-90s, I was at FSU going to school, and the Blue Jays were in the World Series against the Braves. Yeah, that year when the Braves lost the Blue Jays in the World Series. Well, I was watching World Series games in Tallahassee, Florida at Florida State campus and college. And I was cheering for the Blue Jays. Of course, Toronto guy down there. But let's just not get it twisted. North Florida goes for the Braves. There's very much a very, very deep Atlanta Braves fan base in North Florida. Like they're not even Rays fans there. They're more Braves fans in Tallahassee. So I'm watching the game, and everything that went right for the Blue Jays, I'm gleeful for and cheering for, and everybody else is getting madder and madder. And I'm like the only person there rooting for the Blue Jays in that World Series game. And yeah, let's just say these people got very mad and chased me out of the house, and I had to leave. So I understand this from the other side with Trevor throwing out the Laker fan at his house last night while they're watching the game. Yeah, Trevor, I mean, I understand. That guy can't be that mad, especially if you warned him and you told him to chill out and he didn't listen. He's got to go. You're out, bro. You didn't respect the house rules or the host. So you got to go, guy. Laker fan. That's right. Infamous saying, salute, freaks. Y'all need to pump the brakes. 100% guarantee that Grady will not get 50 in a game. Grady is doing well. He was also taking advantage of injuries. When players come back, his usage will go down. Well, what if he gets the 50 before they come back? I mean, I think he's very capable of getting 50 points in an NBA game. I think that's what the statement is. I don't think there's any timeline for this. I think that it's going to happen in the next 2 years is what I'll say. It may not be this year, but I think that he's very capable to get a 50-point game at some point. Seriously. I really do feel like that. Because if he gets the right amount of three-pointers and he's really hot, those stack up and add a lot. Like if he gets like 12 or 15 three-pointers in a game at some point, that's a lot of points right there. And then you add whatever else is around it. We'll see. You're exactly right, though. His usage will go down with IQ and other people coming back. Andrew saying, I feel like Bruno might get waived soon. Well, he's past the deadline, so his money's guaranteed. So that doesn't make any sense. If they were going to waive him, they should have waived him before Halloween because Halloween is when his contract became guaranteed. So I don't see this, Andrew. I feel like you feel like that just because he's not played recently. But I think it's more of what I just said about Bruno and where he is with Darko as far as motivation. I think that's more what it is. He is absolutely more needed on this team than you think. Because we need size. We need more around the rim. And maybe he isn't exactly the best, but he is somebody on our team right now in that category. So we should value him, even if he's not the prettiest player or it doesn't seem like he's playing right now. So we'll have to see. Andrew saying Infamous is a good sign that he can score 30 efficiently without any free throws. Yeah. There's a lot of different reasons why I think Grady can get to 50. There's a lot of different reasons why. He's a high volume shooter. He shoots a lot. And he also can be efficient at the high volume. Woo! And that's kind of what he did last night. Both him and RJ were efficient on high volume. Nako's saying NBA Twitter is going to bully us if we boo, but I don't know. Do you? Well, I'm not going to the game, so you won't see me there. And like I said, the way noise is in that arena, those cheers are going to drown out any kind of boos that are there. I'm just saying, if one person boos in a section, I don't want other people to shame them or bully them or be mad at them. I feel like free expression on Vince Carter as a topic is absolutely necessary because every point of view and opinion about Vince Carter is valid, whether it's negative or positive. It's all valid. It's all valid. And in some ways, y'all want to kiss his ass and love him so much. Well, some people need to be able to still kind of hold a grudge against him too. It's all valid. That's right. KM saying, imagine RJ averaging 28 points, 5 rebounds, and almost 8 assists. And there's a certain contingency saying Star J is tradable. Laugh out loud. Lex, these people, man, I swear, are born haters. There's people out there saying that we need to trade RJ. Well, I would say this. They're not from Toronto. I'll say this. They're not Raptors fans because these are people that see the overpowelingness of RJ and how he scores, and they're like, he can't be in Toronto. I think half the time, the people in the Raptors nation that are talking about how we need to trade Jakob or this or that, they're actually not Raptors fans, and they see good players on our team, and like, they need to get these guys out of here. And that's been the action with Scott. That's been the action with RJ. That's been the action with Yak. And so that's what I think this is. They're idiots. Obviously, RJ is a badass. He fits with the barbecue because they're very different kinds of players. And honestly, the chemistry between Scotty and RJ, that little bit of time we saw recently, was really top notch. Like, they're looking for each other in the right ways. And yeah, I swear too, these born haters, well, who knows who they are? They could actually be Sixers fans just coming in and saying, yeah, y'all need to trade RJ. We need to trade RJ. I'm not we, though. I'm actually over in the States. And I'm just making up shit over here. You know, there's a lot of bots too. You know, their bots could be hired to do all kinds of crazy shit. Like, get in the chat and say, we need purple jerseys all the time. Get rid of the chevrons. There are probably bots that are out there being paid for to do shit like that, other than fans that are just saying it too. I'm just saying. Let's see. G saying, infamous. I thought the same thing, but what if Darko staggers Grady's minutes to play a chunk with the bench? I think he can still get his number of shots like that. Yeah, I mean, there is still the option to use Grady as the sixth man, as the very potent scorer off the bench when we're fully healthy. It could be that Oshai starts with the barbecue yak and that he's in there for defensive reasons. And Grady is our sixth man who comes in. He's instant offense off the bench with that unit. And we have a very capable money scorer like RJ is for the starters. So in some ways, that balance is actually kind of attractive in some ways. I think that you guys are right that the 50 is not likely if everybody's healthy. But in these state of times when we're like where we are now, it's very possible. It may not be soon, but like I said, Grady's going to score 50 in an NBA game, guys. It may not be this year. He's going to do it, though. I'll bet you he will. Let's see. Andrew's saying, good point, G. Grady might carry our bench scoring. Yeah, that's a role that he could morph into when we get healthier. We'll have to see what Darko decides. KM saying, we got a guy putting up all NBA numbers. Let's trade him for someone that's good, maybe as good as RJ Barrett. Yeah, listen, I don't have time for Twitter at this point. There's so many jackass comments that is just silly. I don't even use it anymore for anything on this channel other than Leo's life tips, which I'll do real quick right now. Let's see what Leo's saying this morning. He's saying, be stronger than your excuses. At the end of pain is success. After a game like that, yeah, the free throws can be an excuse, Leo, but let's be stronger than it. Let's overcome them. No excuses. There's no reason why I should be making excuses for the Raptors and why they lose right now, because we know why they lose right now. They're inexperienced and they're just figuring it out. So these excuses, like the free throw discrepancy or anything like, well, we're playing LeBron James or Anthony Davis, they're just excuses. And let's just go through them and get stronger, like Leo Routens is saying. There you go. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Yeah. Let's see. Andrew saying, I think the free throws mostly came from us not having a backup center. We're just too small, playing 6'6" Mobo as backup 5. I wish we had more centers ready to go right now, but it's tough. It's tough to get them. For some reason, the Raptors are just not allowed to have tall players. if we do get one and we draft one and we sneak one, well, Rich Paul's going to finagle him out of here in some convoluted bullshit way. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. It'd be real nice to have Coloco in our system right now with none of this bullshit. And him, after time developed to this point in his third year right now, he would be awesome at backup center right now. Well, what was to be did not happen. And that is very, very annoying. Cam saying, sorry to come in bringing that up. It really pissed me off, but I'm over it now. Listen, I stand for RJ too. I may have been dissing him for missing free throws on Wednesday, but I don't get it twisted. He's a native son. He's a guy I'm proud of. He's a guy I don't worry about his motivations and his dedication to Toronto because he's a real one. In some ways, that's why other people may be coming at him more in this kind of way, because they understand that RJ has that passion and that real one loyalty to Toronto that is because he's from here and he's a fan. He's been here, and they don't like that synergy. So other fans may see that and they'll be like, yeah, you need to get RJ out of there. Like I said, that's why I stopped watching Gubstown Clink, because he started making trade machine ideas about RJ like last year, like maybe a month after we got him. He was all about trading RJ out of here. Yeah, I hate that shit too. And don't worry about it. Don't be sorry about that, KM. It pisses me off too. Okay. Yeah. Monique saying, if you're watching this, HC, major thanks for your donations. Guys, I'm so proud of the Raptor Freak family once again. You guys came through in a big major way for Monique yesterday. When we started this stream, she had $30 on her GoFundMe page. And as of last night, I see that she has well over 1,000. I don't know if it was you guys specifically, but there was some major fundraising for Monique to get her new wheelchair. And once again, you guys, if you still want to donate to her GoFundMe page, she still needs some help to get to her target. And I guess me pleading to MLSC yesterday and talking about help Monique out with her wheelchair, they heard us, because apparently they've gotten in contact with her and they are going to give her some help with her chair. That's our franchise, guys. That's our team. That's our Toronto Raptors looking out for our super fan Monique Lawrence to help her get a new wheelchair. And I'm really proud of that, man. I'm proud of you guys in the Raptor Freak family, HC in particular, for what you did yesterday, and also for our team and our front office for not letting our pleas fall on deaf ears to help our good friend Monique Lawrence. It really does mean a lot, and it's life-changing for her. So seriously, y'all, thank you, HC. Thank you, Raptor Freak family, for showing support for one of the pillars of our community in the way you did yesterday. And let's get this chair for Monique as soon as possible. Seriously. Infamous saying there was an incentive for JJ to win the game. We didn't hire him when he applied for our coaching position. This was his payback game. Laugh out loud. I mean, you know what? Actually, he should thank us. He should thank us. He shouldn't be mad at us for that, because the first time he came and interviewed for an NBA job, it was a joke. A lot of people looked at it as a joke that we were interviewing JJ Redick for our coaching position. But he should thank us. In fact, he's probably very thankful to us, because he saw Masai Ujiri and he got the taste of the process. Well, with us actually interviewing him, it made him more a bona fide candidate and more likely to get hired by the Lakers. Because, well, Masai, he knows what he's doing. He's really good at his job. He's interviewing JJ Redick. Then it became more realistic and not so absurd to hire a podcaster to coach the Lakers. So in some ways, he shouldn't have an angst against us because we chose Darko over him. He should thank us because we actually made him more bona fide as a coaching candidate for an NBA team. And honestly, he would probably be happy. Like, I'm much more happier coaching one of my best friends, LeBron James, than like being up here in Toronto in Darko's situation. So I don't think JJ's mad at us. I mean, in some ways, Darko may have been on the other side saying, yeah, they interviewed him also for this job that I got, and maybe I want to beat him to save face. But, you may be reading into this a little bit too much. And I'll bet you Redick is actually very appreciative. Seriously. He's very, very appreciative because he got his name put in circles, in coaching circles, partly because of Toronto, what they did. Mischief saying, I hate how many fouls were called against the Raptors. NBA is turning into WWE. Yeah, it was annoying. It was annoying. But once again, there is a natural thing as far as AD is such a difficult guard. He's going to get fouls all the time because he's just a real load to handle. in some ways. That's part of it. But good to see you, basement. Andrew saying, man, I hate daylight savings. The extra hour of sleep will be nice, but I hate how early it gets dark. I think it's awesome. Fall back's always better than spring forward because you get that extra hour. And that is true. But yeah, I don't hate it. It's just something that we do. It is what it is. In some ways, don't mess up our road trip with daylight savings, is what I'm saying. Naka's saying daylight savings time isn't worth it when we lose an hour of sleep. Normalize starting your day an hour later. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. Live by the sun, as our ancestors did. In some ways, we don't need no clock. We don't need them to tell us what time. Just look at the sun, Crocodile Dundee, and just say, oh, it's 5 p.m. Yeah, I can tell. This is where the sky and the sun is sky. Yeah. Yeah. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Let's see. Andrew saying, I swear they've been talking about getting rid of it for years. Yeah, W. Bush used to talk about it when he was president. I don't know. In some ways, you know what daylight savings time is oriented for? Is for 9 to 5 culture and the work week. In some ways, that's part of the reason why they do this stupid shit, is because they don't want people that are working 9 to 5 grind to feel like so sad and stuff, because there's no sunshine when they get home. So they got to fall back the hour so that at least you get a little bit of sunlight in the northern hemisphere during those late winter times. In some ways, that's part of it right there. That's right. Most got my cutoff. W streams, W vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Despite the outcome, Raptor Freak Family Crew strong forever with this team regardless. And for you, Monique, we are strong with you, and we got your back. And I will continue to promote until you meet your goal on your GoFundMe page. I will continue to promote this every single day. Y'all, we'll find the link. Let me go get it real quick, and I will give it to you guys real fast on here, because we want to make sure that you guys, if you want to give and help Monique get her chair, that you guys know where to go. Let me get that link once again. I'll put it in the chat right now. Yeah, she's got over 1,000 raised now. And honestly, let's get more of it up. And I know that she said that the Raptors are going to come talk to her, and they're going to figure out how they can help her with it. And we'll see. Maybe she'll have her goal soon enough, because the Raptors are going to help finish it off. We'll see. There's the link to her GoFundMe page. Every little bit helps. This is very much essential for Monique's quality of living. And, you know, these things break down over time, and you got to get an upgrade every once in a while. And it's time. It's time for Monique to get an upgrade on her chair. And that's why we're going to help her out. Kareem saying Raptors going to be running at full ass after Christmas when the real season starts. You know, the other thing that's kind of happening that we keep forgetting about with all the hullabaloo about Vince Carter and, losing and injuries is we have the in-season tournament coming up. Yeah, and these games are going to be weird, man, that we're going to play. We go on the West Coast trip, and then we come back, and we pretty much jump into the in-season tournament almost right away. We'll play in Milwaukee, our first one, and then we'll play at home against Detroit on the second one. I would like to get at least 2 of these in-season tournament games, Darko, if we can. I mean, one for sure against Detroit, but if we can win 2 of the 4 in-season games, that's better than last year and only getting 1. So I want to see improvement in any kind of area we can see it. So I don't necessarily think we're going to win the in-season tournament. I don't think that's realistic, but we do want to do better every time. So that's something we can't forget. The in-season tournament is coming up quick, y'all, and it's going to be in our face very soon. Nako's saying in Bronny's defense, I'm sure he's really expecting people to see his dad. I'm not sure he's really expecting people to see his dad. I think he was put in a position he didn't really ask for, but didn't really say no to either. All right, I want to break this down the right way. No, nobody has the realistic expectations that he is going to be a carbon copy of his father. There's no way that's happening. In some ways, I expect him to be out of the league in the next 2 years, honestly. Listen, Braun has wanted this to happen for a long, long time. He's trained his son like Gary Trent Sr. trained Gary Trent Jr. a long, long, long time. He, in some ways, is feeding his own ego to be the first player to ever play in the NBA with his son, which has now happened. He's accomplished it. In some ways, Bronny has no choice because it's his dad and he has to please him. This is kind of like a work relationship where the boss is trying to get sexual favors from somebody they work under. In some ways, Bronny has no choice. It's his dad. He doesn't want to displease his dad. He has to do what his dad wants him to do. Now, Bronny may very well have the same exact goals as him, but in some ways, it's unnatural and it's not totally fair to the young man, because this pressure is crazy and he's going to be over scrutinized. And in some ways, it's bad parenting by LeBron to put his son in such a situation that he's going to fail in. And it is what it is. It's going to work out the way it's supposed to. Now, if the NBA manufactures a long career for him, this isn't Austin Rivers. This is a guy who's probably not a good NBA player and shouldn't play in this league. So they manufacture some sort of way for him to be in the league for a long, long time. We'll see right through it because it won't make sense because it doesn't seem like he's earned it. And that's the sad thing about it. In some ways, he has no choice, and he's screwed either way. He really is. Fiercely saying, yes, Mobo is proving doubters wrong. He totally belongs. Lex, I can volunteer to change the players' emoticons if you show me. He needs this on. He needs to be on the list. I'm considering. Yes, I'm looking for somebody to do this. So Fiercely, yes, I will talk to you after the stream at some point in the near future about possibly setting you up to be the Mocon Giant. If you want to step up and raise your hand, I love that. If you want to be in charge of switching out our emoticons like Tom used to do. In fact, I'm going to ask Tommy. I'm going to message him and say, Tom, I will pay you money for the emoticons that you already made. And if I'll send you money through eTrans, and you email them to Fiercey so she can utilize the ones that you've already created, and we can still have them available, like the ones for Team Canada and different things like that. Because the work Tom put in is very nice, and I do want to compensate him for it. So maybe I'll circle back and see if Tommy will do this. I'll send him a couple $100 or something for his work that he already did, and maybe he'll email the rest of the emoticons to you. That's what I'm kind of in the process of thinking about doing. Stargate saying he had a Dora Milaje on his shirt. That's who the name of that woman is. The Black Panther that Davion Mitchell had on his shirt. Okay, thank you for the information, Stargate. That's a dunk for information. Yeah, I didn't know her name and I couldn't read it on the shirt in the picture, but I did see the Black Panthers symbol in the corner. And I know that he's been very much putting on blast great African-American leaders on his shirts when he comes in. Let's see. Nako's saying, sure, we need a specialist for the men at sea, Lex. Healthy seamen are the best seamen. Okay. You were the one who brought that up with Eric Curry. And I'm like, man, this is what? Are we talking about Panzer stuff here? Come on now. What's going on here, man? What's going on here? Nako, you're funny, man. That's funny. Chris comes here. Yo, Lex. I love this team and the players we got. Just not sure why Battle isn't getting a chance, especially when threes aren't very good on this team. For my first prediction this year, Raps by 6. All right, he's saying tonight we're going to win by 6 and the Vince Carter retirement game against the Kings. I've seen some parallels that may be this. The referee crew is good. And also the Sixers, the Kings playing last night against the Hawks. They may be tired with, traveling, but they are at full strength and they are a pretty good team. So it's going to be a battle either way. And maybe Battle will be in the game tonight. But yeah, Battle's been at the end of the bench, kind of like Bruno Fernando recently, and collecting a DMP last night was surprising. But hey, who knows? There's all kinds of different reasons for different things. Carlo wanted to see Dick dunk on Bronny. Well, there was no opportunity for that because Bronny came in and made a cameo appearance right at the end of the game. Carlos saying Reddit was going wild for RJ and Dick. Amazing how many are having fun with the losses. I'm glad. Raptors fans, are you not entertained? That's what's important about the NBA, right? NBA action is fantastic. Well, we're not a winning team, but at least you're enjoying the games, and we see the promise of the future in the young stars that we've got on our team now. And I'm all about that. Good morning, Raptor Free Crew from Coach Cool Cat. Good morning to you. G saying Lakers top scores are 31 and 39. Raptors top scores were 24 and 20. Future is bright, baby. Enjoy your day, everyone. There, G, once again, just dropping really good, like positive, sunshiny tidbits about like framing this in the right way. Look at those ages, 39 and 31. Might as well be 40. And 31 is how old Davis is. Okay, 24 and 20. Barrett and Dick. Enjoy your day. G, you get a dunk for really fantastic points. In some ways, G is doing some of the positive optimism, Raptor freak kind of stuff that I like to do on this channel for us. Thank you, G, for stepping in and being that dude right now. 116. You got a 10-pointer, man. You got a 10-pointer for that one. All right, let's see. Common Crazy saying no swearing Saturdays. I don't know how much I've sweared today. I don't know how much I've actually sweared. Has anybody counted how many times I sweared? I may have swore a little earlier, but I'm trying not to swear too much today. Smooth saying most of these fans only jumped on the 2019 bandwagon. They aren't fans of teams, but people, hence all of the LeBron James people. Well, there are a lot of people in the city that aren't Raptors fans at all, that are just LeBron fans. There are a lot of people in the city that are just Lakers fans, and they've never been Raptors fans either. So they come out. There are fans of other teams that live in our city inexplicably. They're not all real ones that just go with their home team. There's Brooklyn Nets fans out in Scarborough. They're weird, man. You get on the bus and you see a guy wearing a Brooklyn Nets starter jacket, and he starts looking at you, and you're wearing a Raptors hat, and all of a sudden it looks like you may throw down in the middle of the bus. That was what was happening to me around fuck Brooklyn. Masai said fuck Brooklyn, and I get on the bus to go out to my grandmother's, and I'm going out to West Hill, and I'm in the bus, and there's a Brooklyn Nets guy in front of me, and he's giving me the side eye, like he wants to throw down with me, like I personally said fuck Brooklyn because I'm repping the Raptors on a Scarborough bus. So you understand, there's people that are fans of all teams, and sadly, there's Boston Celtics fans in this town that work at the NBA restaurant. Wayne's saying everything I see from Raptors is good. With the experience we have on the court, there's nothing to be down about, really. Our bench is much better, and they are getting reps. Let's benchmark games. There you go. I love it. I love it. We got the right attitudes about this, and we got the right parameters in the scope that we're looking at as far as looking to the future and just looking for the bright signs of very intelligent, smart, fundamentally sound players that are learning at a very young age very quickly, and there's a lot of promise. They're competing. That's the thing. They're competing with teams that are way more experienced and way more savvy in the NBA world, and look like they belong. And that may be the biggest thing to say right there. That's right. There's the classic card of the day, Nako the Nacho getting it. Good job, Nako. Let's see. KM, you refreshed the chat and you saw him just ahead. Yeah. Unfortunately, you got to be that quick when we're playing the classic card of the day. Seth Curry, the classic card of the day. Yeah, look at that guy. Seth Curry when he was on the Sixers. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Wayne's saying Darko's scheme of moving the ball has gone away somewhat. Lots of static non-movement happening at times. All I know is that Darko is a hell of a good coach. Our future actually depends on solid 905. I'll agree with all of this. Now, in some ways, the motion isn't around the horn like with passing on the outside. It's more of a two-man pick and roll game with Jakob that's going very much bread and butter for the Raptors at this point. There's a lot of working around Jakob at the top of the free throw line and kind of running picks around him. Is the way they're running their actions a lot right now. And it's been very effective, whether it's Jakob rolling to shot in the lane or finding really good people in different places. Jakob's been so central and key to both ends of the floor for the Raptors right now. So central and key right now. Kuket saying, I think year one of rebuild is going good. I think it is too, even if the win-loss column looks bad right now. Even if it is. Carlos saying it's the lack of shooting sometimes. Opponents just pack the paint. It will be hard to get some spacing. Yeah, that may be why, like somebody just said, we need to battle out there more. Yeah. Yeah, I won't disagree. In some ways, the Raptors' three-point anemic problems have been a real issue for the last couple of years, but we're seeing signs that we're going to get more reliable three-point shooting individually in Grady Dick, and hopefully in the growth of like Jacoby Walter coming up and people like Kelly Olynyk coming back. That was one of the things that they did the cards for the 2K guessing, and Kelly Olynyk had a really good outside shooting rating on there for his profile. And they were like, whoa, Kelly's that good of a three-point shooter? And he's like, yeah, in some ways he is. And in some ways he will help our three-point shooting immensely when he's healthy out there. It's like Kelly will help in two areas. He'll help with upfront depth for center and lane protection and just rebounding. And then he will add on the offensive end a much better three-point shooter that's around to help with the three-point shots too. So those are two big reasons why we need him back right now. Right now. Thank you for the cutoff. Once again, Monique, we're almost there. Blackhawk saying, Lex, you have your version of VC and I have mine. I'm old enough to remember it. And I don't carry the hate for him. Okay, well, you got to understand also, Lex has been invested this much the whole entire time the Raptors have existed. I don't know how invested you were in the Raptors. I was so invested that I worked for them. I was so invested. I worked almost every single Vince Carter game when he played for us because I was in the arena. And I was the one guy at Air Canada Center that was Raptors first. Everybody else was Leafs first, and then Raptors as an afterthought. I carried this purple flag and banner for our team in the middle of a blue sea of white and blue and white. And in some ways, I was the guy fighting like this back then, like this. So in some ways, I was very adamant. And when this all happened this way, well, I was really pissed. And in some ways, that's fine. That's your life, Neil. But we're all different people and we have different life experience. And my experience was right in the middle of it all, right in the middle of Vinsanity in the building as an employee of MLSC at that time. And I was a member of the Club 15 fan club. I had a signed autograph by him. I had the T-shirt, and I burned that shirt after this happened. And in some ways, you can remember it the way you want to, but in some ways, I'm that kind of person. I've said this before, like my paisano Nameless. There's a little bit of a mafioso, you cross me, you're done for life kind of thing with me. And in some ways, that's part of me protecting myself from people that are toxic or harmful for me. It's like, you know what? You're a fucker. You're out of my life. And in some ways, that's how I went with Vince when he went to New Jersey. And I'm sorry, I'm a diehard, Neil. I'm sorry I'm such a passionate Raptors fan from day one that I've held a grudge against Vince Carter for 20 years. You're a better person than me, obviously. But I'm just going to say I am who I am. And that's it. But I'm also showing some thawing out on this and getting okay with it and accepting life as on life's terms. And life's terms is we're retiring Vince Carter's jersey tonight, even if it's not ideal or what I wanted. Actually, no, it's not. But I'm accepting it. And in some ways, that is the example I'm trying to show everybody today, is that even though I'd never wanted this today, I'm accepting it, and we're going to go ahead and do it. And we have to. I guess we have to at this point because Ed Rogers III said we do. That's right. Carlos saying VC leaving was one of the first heartaches of my youth. When I saw him tearing out when they refurbished his court, the hate dissipated. Yeah, the emotion, the connection is there. We are healing the bond. And honestly, it's not just this time, Vince. You can be all about Raptors alumni right now, but if you're going to go forward for the rest of your life and really embrace the side of your life that is Raptors, I'll be cool with that. I know you consider Orlando the home team. I know you consider your peak years in New Jersey. I know that you're an NBA star and you really consider yourself a citizen of the NBA. But this thing with the Raptors is so special and important in your legacy that you cannot diminish it or water it down by equalizing it with New Jersey and Orlando. No, this is different. What you did here was way different than what you did in New Jersey or in Orlando or any of the other teams that you played for later in your career. So you have to make it special again and show that it is special by rekindling the bond with our franchise and our people, our fans. And that's the part of it right here. And that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing. Cool Cat saying, I will not break my piggy bank for Carter jersey ceremony. I will do so for Lowry and Siakam. There you go. And Carlos saying the same. That's right. See, Monique is going there because in some ways it's important for the super fan to be there for the first ever Raptors jersey retirement. You know, I am that kind of fan that'd be like, you know what, this is supposed to be important. I should be there. And often for many important things, like our first ever finals game, our first ever playoff game ever, I was at those games. Yeah, our first ever playoff game against the Knicks before 2000 in Toronto. I went to that game. I was at all kinds of very monumental games, but I'm choosing to not go to this one. Who would have told me like 15 years ago or 10 years ago, you're not going to go to the first ever Raptor retirement jersey game? I would be shocked because I know I'm important to me to go there. But no, I'm not going. I will definitely go to Kyle's though. And I'll definitely go to DeMar's. And I'm with you. You guys are in the same place. Neil's saying, I could never hate VC. Okay, well, that's your choice. When he flew out for his diploma, there was a huge amount of racist remarks. I was in Catholic high school. He was the underdog to me. Education is number one with me. Sports is number two. Well, that's not me. In some ways, that's not the way college sports is either. You know, they would help people with their grades and cover up shit. And education was not as important as having the player on the field. Well, it's just different perspectives. I still don't like that he did that. And you can have a different opinion than me, and that's fine. I'll allow for it. It's funny. Richard Petty said this in the interview with Josh Lewenberg this week, saying that they disagreed with him going to graduation. But Glenn Grunwald and Larry Tannenbaum had signed off on him going already. But Richard was like, why is he going? Doesn't he understand how important this game is? Does he not care? Richard Petty, the head of MLSC, thought this at the time when he went to graduation, and he even espoused this in a recent interview with Josh Lewenberg. So, yeah, listen, we can be education first, like Michelle Carter and Vince Carter are, and we can also be like, fuck, the fuck are you doing? Go to the game. Forget about this. You can get your graduation ceremony, especially at another time. I'm sorry. There can be allowances for this. So there's two sides of this. It's not that your side's right. And it's not that my site's right either. It's just what happened. And well, we can be disdainful towards him for that. Racist remarks have no place in any place. Yeah, for sure. But that's not really the point of what this is. The point is that you've taken our franchise to the highest place in the playoffs ever, and you're going to go and do something else with the half of your day, and it's going to distract you, and then you're going to miss a shot at the end of it. Yeah, in some ways he deserved this. Not the racist remarks, but the criticism and the like. Yeah, this is a bad choice. I thought it was a bad choice at the time, and I still stand on that. But we can be opposite on this, Neil. There's nothing wrong with that. College sports, sure, education should be number one, but professional sports first. Sorry. Carlos saying, I hated VC in the NBA for a while there. It took a while for me to watch again. Yeah, it was really hard as a Raptors fan to continue to joyfully watch the NBA around 2005. Yeah, it was really hard. And a lot of people went away. And they never came back. In some ways, that was a problem right there. Kareem saying, I'm not going to cheer. I'm not going to boo. But if the pulley gets stuck or the jersey falls off, I won't be mad either. That's so good. The guys who were sitting in front of me at the Nuggets game the other day, they were asking me about the speaker fire. It's like, did y'all speaker really catch on fire? I was like, yeah, I pointed to it. Yeah, it was that one over there. And he's like, oh, that's so cool. These guys are all into the speaker fire. Yeah, there's a speaker fire tonight. I mean, all right, Kareem, you're getting a dunk for just silliness. That's silly. I'm going to give you 5-pointer, 406 on the dunk chart now, guys. Oh my gosh. Actually, you should be 408. Sorry, 408. 408. Because you are 406. 406 is right. It's a 5-pointer. Yeah, never mind. He was at 401. That's right. Fiercely saying, can you please put the link to the GoFundMe? Yeah, she put it up and I put it up also. Yeah, Carlos asking, can anyone share Mo's link? There it is. We got it up there like 3 times in a row right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Fiercely saying, thank you, Raptors fan, super fan Monique Lawrence. Just made a donation and happy you're getting much support. Yeah, that's what we do. We're looking out. That's right. Carlos saying, done. We're getting you that chair, Mo. There you go. I love it, man. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you, MJ, for your generosity and what you're doing. Blackhawk saying, as long as Walter is back, Battle will be down at the 905. Remember, Battle has to decrement a day from his 50-game bucket every time he suits up. Oh, yeah. Every time he suits up, he's taking he's losing a game. He was suited last night. He could have played last night. So he was actually taking a 50 off of there. It is what it is. Just let them manage the team. I'm not going to micromanage them or worry about this too much. At the end of the year, it seems like they mismanaged their 905 two-ways. Then, okay, we'll talk about it then. But right now, they need them because of the injuries. And them being suited up to play and be there is great. Now, the one thing I will say is Shamshay's not getting dressed very much right now, and that may be the right kind of order of things. Let Shamshay go to 905 for the first part of the season and save his 50 games of eligibility for later in the season for the Raptors. And we may see a heavy dose of Urich, Shamshay on the Raptors by the end of the year. And, keeping him stashed away and not using his eligibility on the Raptors early in the season like they are for Battle and Carton is a smart idea. That's right. Blackhawk saying, as soon as IQ comes back, they will send DJ down to 905. DJ's already on 905 right now. He's been down there already. It's Shed that should get sent down then. That's what I think. Carlos saying, Grady, can we get 32 tonight and then do 33, RJ? I love that. Just give him one more point each time. Grady, keep getting your career high, and it's just like one more point up. That's hilarious. All right, I'm at 3 hours. I'm going to wrap it up real quick. I mean, this is a very Lexathon kind of day, a reaction and a preview and a retirement ceremony. There's a lot going on right now, so we needed to take the time today. So I have no problem doing a 3 hour. In some ways, we just got to finish it up soon. We're going to be done soon. Let's see. Fiercely saying, when IQ, RJ, Grady, and Battle shoot threes, I'm 90% confident they go in. Scotty is getting up there too. So many times, Jakob is left wide open, but he passes instead of shooting. Yeah, I mean, he's gauging when to take his and when not to. I think he does a good job. The thing about Jakob that's most impressive of me about his offense is how he's flipping shots into the basket with so much physicality around him. He's like rebounding, offensive rebounding, putting it back. He kind of talked about it last night after the game, saying that he's always been kind of a key on offensive rebounds. And for some reason, he's just doing really well at it right now. So he's really into it. But he's making crazy flip shots and shots where he's getting hit and it's going in the basket. And I'm really proud of him. So his finishing and completing shots near the rim right now is really top level, honestly. Blackhawks saying actually it was hockey, baseball, then basketball back in the VC times. Yeah, it was hockey for sure. Baseball, I mean, I'm talking about in the arena. I'm talking about in the arena. Baseball didn't exist in the Air Canada Center at that time. I'm talking about the people that I worked with. I worked with a lot of grannies that worked for the Leafs since like the 60s. Some of the women that I worked with in 1999 at the Air Canada Center had worked for the Leafs since the 50s and 60s and saw them get Stanley Cups. These were women that used old registers and had to lean underneath the concession stand in the Maple Leaf Gardens so they wouldn't hit their head on the concrete, and they sold popcorn. Well, they hated moving to the Air Canada Center, and they had to work on computer screens, and this was all new. And then there was a basketball team they had to work for too, and some of them were a little racist about it. Some of them were a little bit like not that happy about having to work for basketball games. They just didn't see the point of the sport. And they were very vocal about it while I was working with them, saying like, yeah, I just don't get the NBA. What is this about? Meanwhile, I'm like NBA dude, and I don't give a shit about the NHL. So that's more of what I was talking about, Neil, is in the building, the employees were way more centric around the Leafs at that time. It's not as the same anymore. There's a lot more young people there. There are more Raptors fans and Leafs fans that work there at this time. But it is Vince Carter. It is different things like the popularity of the Raptors going out the roof that have made it more balanced in that building. But that building was such a Leaf building when we opened it up. And the Raptors were an afterthought in all kinds of different ways, except for this guy. This was maybe the one employee that was Raptors priority first, other than the actual team and the coaches and stuff like that. That's what I was kind of saying there. As far as things, baseball didn't exist in that building. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Go rest, Lex. Thanks you, Monique. And Neil saying, if you don't want players to put their education before a game, don't draft them until they graduate. VC had to study while being a Raptor in order to graduate. That's still bullshit. I mean, listen, this has been handled so much better since. I mean, some people walk across for their graduation. They don't have to travel. And the day of Zoom, he could have done his graduation through the computer and not even had to go to North Carolina. I still think there's a cop out in this bullshit. Sure, their family in particular has the mantra education first. Michelle Carter is an educator, and this was always the way it was built up with Vince and all this stuff. Sure, I can say that especially, but it's so sad that out of all the NBA players in the history of the NBA, we had to get the education first guy on that day for that reason. Oh, see, half the guys in the league don't give a shit about this. And that's why I'm annoyed by it. Because it just happened to be, education Schmurf is our guy who's our franchise player. And he has to go be education Schmurf on the day of the biggest game in the history of the franchise. Yeah, that's the problem. You think John Morant's going to miss a game for graduation? No. You think other people most of the league is going to make the choice that Vince made? No. And y'all normalizing that he made the right decision is just PC, like, we're doing it because education should be first. The kids are listening, Lex. You should be saying education matters. Okay. In some ways, I don't believe the higher education of the college system in the United States is worthwhile. I think it's a money grab. I went to Florida State. I saw the cattle they brought in, all the young students that came in and they just made tuition off of books and making money off them. And they didn't give a shit if they got real jobs afterwards. They'd hand them out all these tacky ass diplomas that don't give them jack shit in the real world. It was all about making money and off student loans and all that kind of stuff. So maybe I'm a little jaded about the education system and what they're trying to say on this whole thing. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways I could go at this. I mean, seriously, how many of the other players in the league at that time would have done what Vince did? Seriously, I'll bet you that percentage was so low. Because most of them would be like, no, we need to win. I need to be in Toronto preparing for Allen Iverson and the Sixers and not on a fucking jet that my owner is letting me use to go to North Carolina. So, yeah, I'll stand on this side. You can say education first. Okay, go ahead. Why did we draft a guy who hasn't done yet? Because he came out early and he continued to do his education. You're right. But why did UNC put their graduation on the day of a very important playoff game for the Raptors also? Can I say that also? Maybe Vince Carter is so important. Why didn't UNC just change when their fucking graduation was? Why did Vince have to go at that time? He could have done his graduation in a special ceremony, could have gotten it arranged. There's all kinds of alternatives to how this went down, and it could have gone way, way better. Trust me. Trust me. That's what I'm saying right there. Right there. And I don't mean to be abrasive towards Neil. We're doing counterpoint. And that's what we do on this channel. That's what we do right here. Yeah. Blackhawks also saying DJ is doing 905 and Raptors while IQ is out. Shed will not go to 905 because Darko will keep 3 point guards on the roster. I know you said this the other day, but we've said that we don't feel like this is the right choice because this will hurt Shed's career. And honestly, it's not good for the Raptors. Trust me. We don't want to feed Shed's ego just so he's like, oh, I don't want to ever go to the G League. No, motherfucker, you need to go to the G League. And just like people said right here, Shed needs to rein it in. He's making a lot of careless turnovers. And in some ways, those turnovers should be on a G League court and not on a Raptors court. That's what I'm saying right there. So I'll completely disagree with you on a couple things right here, Neil. And Shed needs 905. You can act like he doesn't. And you can say, oh, Darko's going to need 3 point guards on the team. No, he doesn't. Once again, I'll say exactly what I said the other day. He can have 2 point guards on the main roster, and Scotty is the 3rd point guard. Well, why not? RJ could be the point guard from what I'm seeing out there. Jonathan Mobo could be the 3rd point guard. We don't need 3 point guard depth. We really don't because we have so many forwards that are bringing the ball up the court themselves. So even Jakob is bringing the ball up the court sometimes, like last night, is what I say on that. Kareem saying if education was first, he would have never declared and waited for his graduation. Boom goes the dynamite. Drop the mic, Kareem Thomas. Exactly. He should have stayed all 4 years at UNC, but he cut out and went to exactly. Listen, he controls his destiny. He's the one who made his choices. That's what I'm saying on this. All right, y'all. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. Let's wrap everything up and get out of here. That's right. Our injury report is still having people on it, which is annoying. Scotty out, Emmanuel out, Kelly out, and Bruce Brown out for tonight's game. On Sacramento's side, there's only 2 names out, Orlando Robinson and Devin Carter, and that's it. Everybody else is healthy, so we're going to see the main bulk of the Sacramento Kings tonight. The refs all favor the Raptors. Statistically, is crew chief Brian Forte, and we got Justin Van Dyne and Shea Flores as our 3 referees for tonight. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything in my tabs as I go across. My 3 stars of the game for the Laker game last night, RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, and Jakob Poeltl. That's a no-brainer right there that it's those 3 guys. Let's see. That and that. Did that. There's no birthdays today. Y'all give some money to Monique's GoFundMe. Please, it will help her get to that spot. I see that you guys gave her a bunch of money just during the stream. She's at $1,255, $1,255 of her $3,000 goal. So somebody get in there and help her get to the rest. Oh, just real quick. I'm really enjoying Kevin Durant arguing with degenerate gamblers on Twitter these days. So if you have not noticed this, go look at Kevin Durant's Twitter account and look at his replies and see what he's saying to people like Vegas Crushers about betting parlays and him and all this stuff. He's calling them degenerates and all this stuff. It's hilarious. Kevin, you fight that fight against the gambling in the NBA the way you're doing it. It's awesome. I love that. All right, guys, we're going to retire Vince's jersey, like it or not, tonight. So let's like it, even if we don't on the inside totally. Let's see. Vince, you can go ahead and be cooler with us over time. I'll like it more and more as time goes on. But still, I still don't like that you just won't come clean on just basically saying, I'm sorry I quit on y'all. That's all you have to say. If you just say that, you have to admit that you quit on us because you did. You did quit on us. Just do that. Just do that and it'll be fine. That'll be very, very good. That'd be amazing. Blackhawks saying they were not Zooming at that time. I know. That's what I'm saying. If we had Zoom at that time, this wouldn't have been a problem with him having to go all the way to UNC. Now, I know there was no Zoom at that time, but I'm just saying in today's world, if somebody's going to graduate, they can actually do it virtually through the computer. But would that be good enough for the education is number 1 for the Carter family? With Zoom, no, he has to be there and walk. It's an important rite of passage. Okay, whatever. In some ways, I don't agree with that crap. I really don't. There are many families that look on education highly. Remember, Black people had to go through civil rights to desegregate the schools. Okay, all right. In some ways, I cannot relate to this. That's obvious. And in some ways, I mean, I get it. But once again, I see in a whole other side of like the education system is fucked. And it's just like a student loans racket in some ways, what's going on down there, honestly. If Vince is utilizing his degree afterwards, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And he's saying it's not about Shed's ego. It's roster construction. Front office is committed to using Scotty as a small forward. No, they're committed to using anybody as bring the ball up the court and not necessarily the point guard doing it. And part of that is the Davion Mitchell being on our team. He's not a true point guard completely. And Scotty's going to get the rebound. He'll bring the ball up the court. If Chris Boucher gets it, he might bring the ball up the court. Mobo bringing the ball up the court. RJ bring the ball up the court. So it's a by committee still, just like it's been in recent years, because we have talented bigs that can actually come up in transition with the ball dribbling. So listen, let's not argue over Shed and the 905. Let's just see what happens. If you end up being right, I'm going to be disappointed in the Raptors, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right. How about that? We'll say that. You're going to send Mo 2 more payments by the 15th. Awesome, man. You guys do whatever you can to help Monique. Honestly, this is a great cause. It's one of our own, somebody we love dearly in the Raptor Freak family. All right, y'all. Have fun tonight, Mo, at the game. And yeah, Vince, you're going to get your jersey retired. And let's see what happens tonight. I'll have the reaction tomorrow to everything. Fallback time. I don't know. I'm not going to go on. I'm going to go on at the regular 9:30 time of whatever the clock says at the new time. So just so y'all know, I'll be getting an extra hour of sleep before I come in and do the stream tomorrow. Thanks, guys, for hanging with me for 3 hours this morning and talking Raptors basketball. I appreciate everybody. Neil, I appreciate the discourse and the disagreement, even if we don't see eye to eye. And I appreciate everybody who loves Vince Carter, even if I don't totally love him like you do. It's just what it is. We're all different people, and we're entitled to our own opinions. And the world is a better place when we accept that and we allow everybody to just coexist in this kind of way. When we get to a world where we can't coexist because of these kind of things, well, that's a big problem. And there's all kinds of issues happening in this world because of stuff like this right now. That's not good. All right, I appreciate y'all. Let's go, Raptors. Let's win this day today. Get out there and start the game right and get the jump on them. This is something you've not done in the last couple games, and it's something necessary. Let's say hi to our old friend DeMar. And, well, Oshai, can you hold him up? Give him some Oshai-itis. Can we slow down De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell, your former teammates? You may have a little more gumption tonight against your former team. And I'd like to see Mitchell do some crazy stuff. Jacoby Walter, let's get part 2. And let's see you actually make some shots tonight and show that aspect of your game tonight. Grady Dick, keep going. Get that next career high, 32. Yeah, that'd be fun. And RJ, you're the man. You rep our city right. And maybe Vince didn't rep it right at the end, but I know you will, RJ, because you're a real one. And you got this city in your heart and in your DNA. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Raptors. Woo, woo. Beat the Kings. Woo, woo, woo. Retire that jersey. Woo, woo. Let's go, Raptors.